The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, sir.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Thursday, December 10th, 2020, and we got a big show for you today while we get ready for Patriots-Rams on Thursday Night Football. Let's go. The Patriots are getting 4.5 points tonight against Los Angeles Rams. Sean McVay and Bill Belichick, notoriously played each other in a Super Bowl in which Bill Belichick handled that one, and Sean McVay's offense was absolutely non-existent in that particular game after a year of taking over the world with an offense that actually got like 7 different coaches hired because they just knew who Sean McVay was, potentially swam in Sean McVay's pool, or maybe even got him a coffee at one point. Now, we are back at a point where the New England Patriots are a different team. The New England Patriots are hot, though, after just beating the shit out of the Chargers just days after the Chargers were told by their head coach they had no playoff chances when they indeed actually had a playoff chance.
Hell yeah.
So what will tonight's story be? Will it be that Bill Belichick's defense, like it did in the Super Bowl, absolutely shut down a Sean McVay offense led with Jared Goff? Or will the story be that Sean McVay, the young whiz kid who once got out-chessed by Bill Belichick, comes back with a whole new redemption style? I think the one thing you have to ask is, will Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots be able to get to Jared Goff? If they can't get to Jared Goff and McVay's offense will do well. If they can get pressure on Jared Goff, they will not. Throwing for 67 yards against this Rams team, if you're not getting to Jared Goff, is going to be an impossible task for the New England Patriots. So that is what this whole entire game revolves around tonight, in my eyes. There'll be a lot of other conversations that pop up today. We have Demarcus Ware joining us, legend from the Cowboys, Super Bowl champion from the Broncos. We'll be chatting to him. He's launching like a workout app or something like that. If you do recall, this guy was just a physical specimen forever. So if he's giving away tips and ideas on how to potentially be like him, I think we should probably listen. We'll also talk to him about his career and potentially what the fuck is going on down in Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, that place is legitimately dead. Maybe Demarcus Ware still has some snaps in him because it feels like that would help out the Dallas Cowboys immensely. And then in about an hour and 30 minutes, Tom Pelissero will be joining us. We'll be chit-chatting about all the news around the NFL, what's going to happen going forward, maybe some salary cap conversations about next year, who's gone, who's not, and all the good shit. AJ Hawk will be joining us as he does every single day, and you could call us at 1-888
Hold the phone. Time out.
623-3646.
There it is.
Thank you. 1-888-623-3646.
Bingo. All right.
We'll talk to you. And also, we have a new segment from Twitter called Questions from the Twitter. Cannot wait for today at Tone Diggs. What are you looking forward to tonight? What is the line doing? What is the gambling doing for tonight's game? What should we be thinking about? And I think this is a game that's going to be a good football game. I'm very, very pumped about it.
Yes.
Pat, the line opened up -6.5 Rams. It's down to -4.5 Rams, even though 63% of the money is on the Rams. So that's something to look at there. But you were talking, I completely agree with you about if you could get the Goff, speeding Goff up. The New England Patriots are 24th in the league in sack percentage, so getting to the quarterback. So I, like you, tend to lean towards the Rams.
Yeah, and not just that, by the way. There's another bet with Jared Goff involving it on FanDuel. It was a live bet. If you watch the first 3 series for Jared Goff and it looks like he is comfortable, and maybe it'll only take 2 series. If it looks like he's comfortable, Jared Goff is a guy that if he looks happy early, going to be happy throughout. But if Goff has a little bit of question in his eyes in the first 3 series, make 3 series. I think you give him 3 series max. You'll be able to tell. And gambling is obviously always the gamble. But if Goff has that look in his eyes where he is potentially a bullfrog staring down a flashlight, everybody talks about the deer, but a bullfrog actually freezes up.
It does.
That's how they actually go bullfrogging down there in Louisiana, which I've done before. You snag them off the side of a swamp where a potential gator is after putting a flashlight in their eyes. Then you put them in like an American gladiator, like trash bag, so they don't jump out.
Yep.
Because they eat frog legs like it's delicacy.
Yeah,
And you got to be quick, you got to be safe, but you got to have that goddamn spotlight that freezes them, and then bang, you grab them. Okay. I went hogging and frogging one day in Louisiana. It was the most manly shit I've ever been a part of. Would I ever do it again? No, but I feel like I was pretty successful at both. But deer in the headlights, bullfrog in the spotlight. Jared Goff bet against them because that's probably going to be the tale of the entire evening.
Also, the Patriots they're mostly a run team. The Rams are top 5 rush defense in the league, and I just don't know if Zubin Mehenti and Gunnar Olszewski are going to be able to get open against Jalen
Hey, I will
Ramsey.
tell you this. Gunner's taking 2 punts back to the house.
How about that?
Up your respect for Gunner, okay? Gunner is a gamer, pal. Gunner is elusive. If Gunner's on that team last year, Tom probably doesn't leave New England. Is
True.
what
Absolutely.
I'm starting to think.
He was, but absolutely.
At Boston Connor, you obviously have faith in Bill Belichick.
yeah.
As you have. You've openly admitted on the show both a lot of things. One, that they were dead a couple weeks ago.
No, never said that.
Then you came back, right? Then you
Never said
I
that.
talked last season. It's a new season.
I never said
Yeah,
that.
that's how you. Yeah, I never said that. You did though. But then you said no, new season. We're starting fresh, and this new season has been good. Couple wins and everything like that. But you've admitted probably not a team that's going to be able to make a Super Bowl run just because the depth, the explosiveness, and everything like that. But maybe, who knows? Tonight against this Goff squad, you got to feel pretty good because Belichick potentially has McVay's number, or do you think this is problematic?
I feel pretty good. I mean, when you think about on the offensive side of the ball, the 3 middle interior linemen, center, guard, they were there for the Super Bowl. They're still there, so I have faith in them stopping Aaron Donald, the game wrecker, and that's going to be huge. And then on the defensive side of the ball, although we don't have Hightower, we don't have Flowers, we don't have Van Noy, the guys from the Super Bowl, basically our entire D-line, they played much better in this last month and have a ton of faith in them getting to the quarterback.
Yeah, you don't.
I do.
Nah.
And, I mean, we got to keep in mind, too, boys, like McDaniels and Bill, they might have a couple tricks up their sleeves.
Yeah, they might. Probably would have used them already. But every single week it seems like they do have a trick play or two or something pop off. You know what I mean?
Couple tricks up their sleeves.
What is that? We're supposed to talk about your shirt having lights on it?
Yeah, like it's a trick up my sleeve. You see what I did there?
It's on your sleeve, actually.
Yeah.
No, it's not on my sleeve because it's not.
Oh, it's inside.
See,
How long does it last? And why didn't you do
Forever.
the top row?
Well, just because we don't want to put everything over.
For those that are,
it's more center. It's more center.
For those that are only listening,
The trenches,
he has a Christmas sweater on that has Christmas lights across it that say New England Patriot, and then Patriots, and then the Christmas lights light up. Actually, they actually have battery operated lights. You feel pretty good about that.
I feel really good about that. I've been planning this for like 2 months.
Yeah. Did you make the shirt? No.
Oh yeah, I made it.
Really?
No.
Yeah, I made it.
It's a good shirt though. Hey, it's very good.
It's a nice sweater. It feels comfortable.
Imagine if we attempted to sell something like that. How I would have to prepare. Maybe 2023 Christmas.
Ooh, something to think about.
Yeah. You know what? In 2023, we're going to sell. Wait till you see the ugly Christmas sweater that we sell 3 years from now.
Be on the lookout.
That have battery power. And there'll only be 10 of them, by the way. So whenever
So it'll be ties, but with real lights.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It'll be that one, which is available.
Yeah.
Maybe, actually. I don't
Is
know.
the sale still going on?
At this point, if you order it, you are rolling the dice heavily to be making it in time for St. Patrick's Day. And I think we have been very honest about that.
I have a cost-effective way to do this. Let's go ahead and put Ty's sweater over his and put holes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the lights
smart.
are.
So we'll just tell people that if you want to light up ugly Christmas sweater from Mars, what we recommend is
Buy
another place.
Right.
Yeah.
And then cut a hole in the ones that we have. Your Christmas sweater is very nice, by the way.
Thank you.
And it was a special day to wear it because the Pats are playing tonight.
Exactly. And the last thing that's actually kind of legitimate, the Niners run defense, right? We've ran, I think, over 50% of our plays are in 21 personnel. Rams have faced the second least amount of 21 personnel. So they got a good rush defense, but they haven't been really going up against, the big
I
bodies.
agree. And listen, I guess there's been a couple games where Aaron Donald hasn't played well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or not played well. He's played well in every game, but wrecked games. You know, one was against A.Q. Shipley against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, obviously.
The Niners.
But aside from that, this is the type of game I feel like Aaron Donald. You see Aaron Donald slipping your center a couple times and then wrapping Cam Newton up before he even makes a decision. I just in my head, this feels like primetime game. Aaron Donald. You know, there's this guy on the show wearing this light up sweater.
Yeah.
This feels like an Aaron Donald slip the center night. Give me Cam Newton before he even gets to do anything.
Yeah, but what does Belichick do? He takes away your best player on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. So he's gonna make someone else on the Rams beat us.
You're right. So maybe that doesn't happen. But then they get Rockers and
exactly Floyd on the outside.
And Jalen's a hitter, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's not like the back.
good.
And there's a lot of people in the YouTube comment section saying that Jared Goff stinks. Like, hey, I used to agree with you. And then I bet against the Rams a couple times. And then you see Goff whenever he doesn't have any pressure on him. It's like, no, he can make all the throws.
Yeah, he can
I'm not
make all
saying
throws.
he can just put the team on his back, though. I'm not saying that Jared Goff can do that. But if he has time, that offense does cook like that. It is something that happens. And I'm only saying that because I bet against them a couple times because I thought what everybody in the comment section thought, that Jared Goff stunk. And then you watch him when you bet against him and you're like, oh, of course, this fucking guy has the best game of his entire life. And then you watch the next time you do it, and it's like, oh, okay, so if he has a chance to play football in a clean pocket, he's very, very good. But he doesn't get talked about in the way that Patrick Mahomes does or Russell Wilson or Aaron or any of the top guys because they all extend plays and they move. He's like an old school quarterback, basically, in a modern world, but he's younger, so it's kind of a different conversation.
Yeah, a little inconsistent. He had a great game last week, which makes me feel good that, the inconsistencies might, come to light tonight. But, we'll see. Bill Belichick will confuse him.
You're saying that he got you're saying he's batting 500-ish, you think?
Yeah, well, he wasted all of his power on Sunday. You got to usually wait a full week for that to recharge. It's only been 4 days.
Because you got to remember, in L.A., they're not allowed to leave their homes.
True.
He's been golfing in his little chippo
his
thing in
backyard,
the backyard. Everybody else in LA is struggling or whatever, not allowed to leave. You're kind of on house arrest. Jared Goff played, 27 holes a day.
Yeah.
That guy's out there pitching and putting and everything like that and on the golf course. You know what I mean? That's what he's been doing. Yeah, that's what he's been doing.
Well, we've been out there for, a week. I think a lot of the Patriots players actually have also been, getting a couple rounds in. So maybe that Goff is evening each other
They're
out.
staying in
That's not how it
the
works.
Intercontinental.
Some of them are going to UCLA, testing the water.
Well,
seeing
Bill
what's going
Belichick.
on
I saw
over
Bill
there.
Belichick running over there. Good game tonight, though. I'm pumped for it.
Yeah,
I think the Rams won by 10. Actually, they're playing against Bill Belichick. I said this yesterday. I said 2 scores, and I remember Bill Belichick. They'll cover the 4.5 is all I'm going to say.
There you go. Well,
Ty Schmidt, a lot of MVP conversation happening right now because it's that time of year. Our guy, Aaron Rodgers, sitting right at the top of the list with everybody.
Hell yeah.
Are we going to have if you have a weekly segment on this show, you automatically win MVP. Is that just something that's going to happen, you think? And I think we should get an award of some sort for that.
we absolutely should get an award for that. And
Agreed.
it's certainly possible, but it also seems like it doesn't matter what Rodgers does. I mean, if Mahomes, it's just like, if the odds are like that already, like what more does Raj have to prove? What more does he have to do? Does he have to throw 7 TDs on Sunday? I wouldn't put it past him. He could do that, but at this point, it seems like he hasn't done enough to level himself with Mahomes. But look at the way he's playing. What more can he do?
There are some massive games this weekend. Cardinals at Giants, Chiefs at Dolphins, Vikings at Bucks, Colts at Raiders, Steelers at Bills, Ravens at Browns. All have playoff contentions involved there. Who's the pack playing?
They got the Lions in Detroit this Sunday.
Big game. Big game.
Technically, that's got playoff implications because the Lions are only one spot out. Huh?
Hey, the Vikings are getting hot. Let's not get crazy here. And the Bears,
they're close.
their offense scored.
Yeah.
That's
It's a whole new
Trubisky looked
team.
good.
offense scored.
Yeah.
Redemption game.
What does the wear off of the new coach appeal die off in Detroit?
That's what I wanted to ask you.
Because we've seen this, right? The Texans came out immediately upon firing. They win a game. Also, the
Falcons, right?
Falcons immediately upon coach getting fired, they win a game. It is like a freshness to it. Does that carry over into another week? Is that how now we have to start trying to figure out how bad it was under Patricia?
Yeah.
Are the boys, is the celebration of freedom going to last 2 weeks? Or is Aaron Rodgers in warm weather because it's in a dome with 0 X factors, really. Is he potentially throwing for 450, 500 yards this weekend?
I think it'll be close. I think it'll be a close game. But, yeah, I mean, the Lions stink.
The Lions stink. I'll be honest with this one. I won't even try to, sugarcoat it. The Lions are going to get smacked around. I honestly just don't want them to hurt Aaron. I want Aaron to be healthy for this game.
Thank you.
And also what I'm very nervous about, I'm very nervous that he's going to go look at Kenny Golladay on the Lions sideline and say, hey, Kenny, I know your contract's up soon. Maybe you come over here and
You remember what I was saying to Calvin? He should have. Don't you make that same mistake that Calvin made.
I'm very nervous about that.
And by the way, everybody I think is learning more and more about Aaron this year. Everybody wants to be teammates with Aaron Rodgers.
That's
I
right.
assume.
Yeah, but there's a 0% chance Gutekunst makes a good decision
True.
in regards for Aaron.
Hey, Foxy, didn't you want to make an official decision on a team that you're going to cheer for into the playoffs?
That's right.
Yeah, you know what? The Lions are dead. They fired their head coach, and I thought, I don't have anyone to root for, and we're getting into the playoff push now. And so I've been looking at these teams. I love the Colts. I love Aaron and the Packers.
Whoa.
There's a lot of good teams out there. But then I started to look at this one team, and I decided. I said, you know what? It'd be pretty fun to root for those Pittsburgh Steelers down there.
Did he become a fan last week and they lost their first game?
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's going to be fun, boys.
That'll be fun.
It's going to be great.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy that this whole conversation led to that. You know what I mean? I don't know how we can bottle that, but I wish we could. That was awesome. Foxy told me that down in Florida last week. He said, Steelers are going to be my playoff team. I'm going to push for it. And then lo and behold, they do lose their first game. Immediately.
Just a coincidence, that's all.
No.
They're dead.
And the Lions win, too. So
Oh, man. That's awesome.
Pats sneak in, too. You know who they're playing.
Who's that?
Inevitably, the Steelers, who will end up being the 2 seed.
Oh, you think the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Pats are going to play each other?
There's a possibility.
Ideally, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think that would be awesome?
But yeah, Pats stink, dude. So
See.
Here comes
Gary
the pendulum.
Gilbert, dude. Gary Gilbert, dude. Let's.
yeah, but Gary is better than Cam.
But Josh McDaniels, Mike McCarthy, Bill Belichick. Mike McCarthy, Josh McDaniels.
Well, here's the difference between Josh.
Mike McCarthy,
Big Mike.
just Patriots.
Here's the difference between Josh McDaniels and Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, even though it was a scam and a fraud, he wasn't afraid to take that coaching role. Josh McDaniels realized he's a scam and a fraud, turned the plane around because he didn't want to be outed.
Josh McDaniels did beat the Steelers with Tim Tebow as the quarterback in the playoffs.
That was not Josh
Holy
McDaniels. That
shit.
was God himself.
Sacrificed his only son. Man, I don't know if the Patriots are making it in the playoffs and you're a team that isn't like a team that just buries people, I think that's going to be a tough out. That is a dangerous situation because you don't want to lose to this Patriots team in the playoffs. You do not this team. No. You do not want to be the team that loses to this Patriots team because this Patriots fan base will be even more insufferable than the previous Patriots fan base. If this Patriots team beats your team in the playoffs, it would be tough to handle.
Would almost mean more to win just one playoff game with this team than a Super Bowl in previous years.
I would rather see. Of all the teams, I'd rather see them than the. No, I'd rather see the Colts than the Patriots. That is who's currently sent. Because Phil's gonna fuck it up.
Well, that's the interesting thing is I think a lot of people have that thought, but hey, that Colts defense, bro. Okay, now Aaron had a pretty good game there of his first half.
Yeah.
But in the second half, they're giving up like 0 points or something like that. You know what I mean? So that Colts team could potentially be problematic as well. Listen, in the playoffs, any given Sunday.
That's right.
You know what I mean? That's why Gary Gilbert and Danuch got a chance to get out there and sling the ball around. Tonight, though, we'll learn a lot about this Patriots team, right? You lose, you're out. Is that how it is?
Yeah, basically. I don't think we're getting in with 7 losses just because of how competitive it is to
In
get
the
one of
AFC.
those spots.
So you lose, you guys are out.
Yeah.
It's a playoff game for the Patriots.
Yeah.
Must-win season, baby. Has been for 3 weeks now.
All right, we have to get to a break. Aviv Lazito has a great poll today, actually. Pretty pumped about this one. And then Demarcus Ware will join us on the other side. Driven to Win, D2 Dub, is his fitness app, by the way. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to talk to him about it, too. Like, I don't have 40 fucking minutes I can dedicate to a warm-up. All right? And then, who has that time? I don't know who has it. The Rock has it somehow.
True.
Mark Wahlberg has. You know why? You got to wake up 2:33 a.m.
Yeah, there you go.
So I should rephrase that. I have the time. I don't have the will.
There you go.
Okay, I am not driven to win DT dub. If there's a 45-minute warm-up, then another 45-minute thing, I just can't do it. I'm sorry, Zito. We'll talk to him on the other side. Your poll, though, today, I'm a big fan of.
Oh, yeah. So what day would you like to see NFL games be added permanently? Right now, Wednesday, 13.6%, Saturday, 22.5%, Friday, 24.9%, and Tuesday leading at 38.9%.
This is kind of what we were thinking, too. We like Tuesday Night Football.
Oh, yeah.
I like Tuesday Night Football a lot.
Sure.
There was a time there where AEW and NXT, because other things being recorded, there was Tuesday Night Wrestling that was on, and I enjoy it. Like, I like live things.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, Maction is cool, okay? I like good live things. So whenever the NFL's on Tuesday, I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. And I understand there's a lot of people that watch series and TV and stuff. I just like live shit. Like, I like live shit. What's going on?
Quick update from the research department in the back. John Fox was the Broncos head coach.
Son of a bitch!
Not
I love John.
It's a good shot, though. Hey, good shot at the board.
All right, we'll be back on the other side with Demarcus Ware. We like Tuesday as well, but all those other days also cool with us if they want to do it. Just have to be right for the players. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Thursday, December 10th. You got about 4 minutes.
I told her about it. I was like, you have expectations of the New York subway. Don't worry about it.
I can hear that roar from the crowd. It's from Pat McAfee. This environment is electric. We just walked in here, and I'm expecting some magical stuff to happen here this evening.
The guy who lost, he's been arrested and reported 13 times.
A baker's dozen is a lot of times to get caught doing something wrong and going to jail. It's almost kind of nice to see that Russian kid play bongos on his face there, but it's been awesome this
As a
evening.
former NFL player, who's the guy that you think would be pretty good in the ring?
The only name that came to mind was a guy named Robert Mathis, okay?
Yeah.
Robert Mathis, not only this incredibly tough man, but the way he utilized his hands as an undersized defensive end. The human cockfighting world is one that I am very intrigued by. The amount of training, the amount of discipline, the amount of strategery, everything about it. The dude's got cinder blocks attached to his wrist. I think tonight is going to be a big night against Demarcus.
Let's just say it 3 different ways.
But I just think Triple G is such a magnetic fighter, and that's why this place is lit up the way it is. I was told not to blink, keep my eyes open. I brought Visine, I brought the vitamins, and I am expecting something awesome to happen. Hey, wait, are we on the screen
There
right
you go,
now?
the big screen at Madison
In
Square
Madison
Garden.
Square Garden? Hey, mama, we made it.
Do not talk about it.
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Joining us now is a man who is a just legendary football player.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking up his stats. Once had 20 sacks in one season. 20 sacks in one season. Let me get this right. 9-time Pro Bowler, 7-time All-Pro, 2-time sack leader, 2000s All-Decade team. He'll be up for the Hall of Fame, I believe, in a year or two from now. Going to be first ballot, Super Bowl champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Demarcus Ware.
Let's go, dude. Man, what is up, dude?
Hey, man, first of all, happy to see that you do just live in a goddamn weight room. That makes a lot of sense, by the way. That makes a lot of sense.
Hey, you live behind the booth and I'm in the booth.
Yeah, I can respect that. Let's get right to it. You're launching a fitness app called Driven to Win. Is that because your entire life humans have just seen you walk by and go, well, goddamn, I wish I was built like that guy? Is that kind of what the Driven to Win app is, or is it just things you've worked on?
It's between those lines, man, just like you said, but it's probably the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks looked at me and was like, damn, I'm tired of getting sacked by Demarcus. So I decided to come up with a fitness app.
Smart.
Right? But no, man, I've been working on this for like 3 years. And, being a computer science major, I wanted to give people a different experience on what fitness is about, right? I mean, it's like my new locker room is now the weight room. So I'm able to motivate people in a way to where you get a true experience. So once you download it, which you are going to download it.
Yeah, I am. I need it, by the way. Yeah. I need it.
Yeah, it uses 3D models, augmented reality, artificial intelligence. So it's actually a real virtual trainer in your pocket, not just saying that, hey, you're going to just get personalized workouts. So it grows with you along the way. And so, dude, if you just prop your phone up wherever you are, if you're at home, if you're in the gym, it'll show you from an augmented reality figure right there in your space, how to do the exercises, the variables, time under tension, reps. It tells you everything.
So what, you just put $10 billion into this app?
if I had $10 billion, No, I didn't put $10 billion.
Yeah, but it seems like this is going to be, user experience is going to be something, I feel like, as a computer engineer. What did you say you were? A computer science?
Computer science major, yeah.
That's unbelievable. So that's like a big part of it is like, let's make this user friendly. And you said grow with me. So my augmented reality trainer that's going to be in my phone is going to take a look at me day one and say, all right, this dude looks like a sack of potatoes. But in a week, we are going to grow, and then we're going to grow. Is that it? Like kind of learn? It's like a smart trainer almost. It'll kind of evolve with you.
It's like a smart trainer. So first of all, it's almost like when we work out. The coaches, they give us a good body composition, which it does that, and then it assesses you and it tells you, okay, this is the workout plan for you. If you're a beginner, okay, great. If you're advanced, that's great too. It puts you in your program, and then it's saying these are the phases that you're going to go through when you train. So let's just say that when we train, you go through stability first, right? Hypertrophy is building, endurance, we're going to do all the running, and then strength and power, and then we start all back over during the season. So it takes you through those cycles so you don't plateau. But when I mean it grows with you, you can actually talk into the phone and using voice inflection, which is a program, and also the heart rate off of your Apple Watch, it'll tell you how tired you are. So like if you need to be at level 2, if you're running, and it's if you're at level 3, if that's the indicator, it'll actually tell you that, hey, you need to slow down to give you 45 seconds or a minute of rest. So it learns. The more information you put into it, the more it learns. So it's pretty cool.
How hands-on were you with this? This sounds absolutely amazing. It sounds like a passion project of yours almost at this point.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I retired, man, I had 3 back surgeries. I had 1 neck surgery. I couldn't walk. And I started going back into, man, how did I recover when I played? What did I need to do? I started doing, I got, help with muscle activation therapy, learning how the muscles work, functional movement screening testing, got certified in that. And then became a certified personal trainer to learn how we train, and now putting all of that inside of an app. And, it's not one of those things where, okay, Demarcus, we're just going to slap your name on it. No, you build a team. You build a team of the best app developers. You build a team of the best augmented reality people. You work with, companies that are going to support you in what you're doing. And every single thing in here
I film myself. This gym, I actually built this whole studio just to film all of the stuff inside of the app. So it's not like one of those things where he just slapped his name on it. I put all the hard work into doing this, and that's why it took so long.
How many sacks am I going to get, Demarcus?
Hey, and make sure, widen the stance. All right, the left leg. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah. 4-point stance. Yeah, there you go. Hand back. Yep. There we go. Yep. And now come out of your hips. Come out of your hips. There we go, baby.
Hey,
yes.
And that was before the augmented reality.
Yeah. So now imagine when you get this in your hand, what you going to be able to do then? I'm not talking about kicking a football anymore.
No.
You were great at that. I'm not talking about that.
We're talking ice picks, man. That's what we're talking.
Spin moves, rip moves, every single thing you want to do, man. But I also added some other athletes in there, like Von Miller, just to name a few. I'm going to be calling on you in a minute, too, for some good specialty work when you start talking about kicking and all that. Yes.
I'm not good at the fitness thing.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about it, because that's why I can create the character of you that's going to do the exercises perfectly. Come on. I can put a
like those. Hey, like those cartoons on Fox when they draw like Andy Dalton's got like the full. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I like that augmented reality. I like that.
Yeah, man. So it's for everybody though, because even if somebody don't want to work out and me be their trainer, I also have a woman mentor in there, Angela Daniel. So all of the content actually changes from the warm-ups, the activations, the lift, the avatar lifts, even the recovery section in there. It all changes to a whole nother app. So it's almost like 2 apps in one.
Well, that's awesome to hear. How am I going to do this? How do we do this? We just download the app? When's it coming out?
No, it came out yesterday, so download
Congratulations.
it. Yeah, man.
We should have done a little bit more research. That's on us.
Look, you didn't do your dang research.
Yeah, not at all. I need an augmented reality in my pocket telling me day-to-day plans. But congratulations. Exactly. We're going to get on that for real. I've actually been I was on keto for like 5-6 weeks and I got real thin. But these last 4 days, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that for the rest of my life. Just the pizza is so damn good and stuff like that. But I got to get on a program. And I think if I could look like Demarcus Ware, that seems like one that I would like to get all in.
And I tell people all the time, like they're like, I can't do your exercises, Demarcus. I mean, you're lifting too much weight. I said, that's the point. I want to show you where you can be, but I want you to be the best you. Like I want you to start where you're going to start. And then I want to build a better you. I don't want you to be like me. I just want to be a model that's motivating you and pushing you to where you need to be, not be like me.
Well, you know who needs to be like you? The Dallas Cowboys. Hey, Demarcus, as a guy who, now granted, you won a Super Bowl with the Broncos, obviously, your legendary career and everything like that. But I think a lot of people, whenever they hear Demarcus Ware, they think of your time with the Cowboys because it was so long, right? And you were such a dominant player there. I would assume you still have connects there, contacts there. What the hell is going on down there, man? That place, they look broken. Troy Aikman almost sounded heartbroken on the cat. And this weekend, first time ever getting flexed out of Sunday Night Football in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. Instead of getting flexed into Sunday Night Football, they got flexed out of Sunday Night Football. The state of the Cowboys is a bad one right now, man.
Man, it's hard, man, because I started watching the season at the beginning, and I'm like, all right, I see that the games are close, 38-45, 37-36. All right, I'm like, okay, they're still not winning football games. And then it started getting to the point to where, Dak gets hurt and the offense goes somewhere to where now they're scoring 7 to maybe 13 points a game. And it started dialing back into the defense, right? Defense giving up all of those points. And I started thinking to myself, man, what is going on? I see Alden Smith. I know DeMarcus Lawrence, Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen Smith, just to name a few of them guys. I'm like, they got a plethora of good athletes. And then I started thinking about, but what about the offseason? Did the offseason play a role? Where, how during the offseason, we always establish our mantra during the season, what we want to accomplish. And then the guys that are putting that C on their chest to be a captain and holding them accountable. They didn't have any of that. Yeah. Right? So I'm like, all right, well, then they got a new coach. So he didn't instill his character, with McCarthy coming in. New offense, about the same with Keelan, but also a whole new defense. So I was like, it was a whole new amount of new stuff that's brought in, but there was no structure to be able to sustain it. And I think that's what's crushing the Dallas Cowboys. Amongst all the injuries of the offensive line, they can't feed Zeke. He's not running the ball like he needs to. And the leadership on defense, like, where is that at? That's where I'm coming from. Like, where is that leadership on defense where you get that? It's almost like that PR guy at halftime. You're like, you motherfuckers, I need to do this. like, where is that guy?
Yeah, I have a question for you with that whole thing, because week 6, and I talked with AJ Hawk about this, Aaron about this, I think Robert Mathis, like basically everybody I've talked to that ever played in the league. Week 6, with this, everything you just talked about, no offseason, no real installation of any mottos or character or traits that the team's going to have and everything like that. Week 6, the locker room was already leaking to the media that the coaches were terrible, right? And we thought, like, that's the worst thing of this entire, you can lose however many games, but if in week 6,
you can't say that.
Already, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so early. Is that what the Cowboys are always like this enigma, like massive amount of hype, a lot of great names on the team, national television every single weekend. And then it seems like for whatever reason, it either doesn't pan out how it's supposed to be, because I think expectations are always very high. Why is it? Is it the culture in Dallas? Is it the locker room? Is it the people? Is it this year specifically because of all that? Like, what do you think it is? Why is it the way it is?
You know what, man? I think it's one of those things where the star has so much star power, right? And, when you go to a lot of the other teams, there's a lot of Indians that want to follow a chief, and then things get accomplished because there's not a lot of people talking and trying to be the leader of the team. But when you're with the Dallas Cowboys, now everybody wants to be the star.
Oh.
There's a whole bunch of chiefs, but there's no followers. So now people want to do their own thing. And when you run into situations like that, then you start having a lot of people out there doing their own thing, being in over here and so many different places. And now guess what? You're losing football games because everybody want to be the star in the spotlight.
That's so interesting, because whenever you say it, it makes a lot of sense, because you can see how that can happen, because when you're on national TV, when everybody's a big name, which goes into what we say, like there's so many big names on the thing, but we never talk about the personalities having to gel in the locker room or kind of come together like we do at other places when big names sign to a place. We always go like, oh, are they going to be able to fit in the locker room, or will they all buy in or whatever? With the Dallas Cowboys, that's every single year, because so many people are made into celebrities and personalities because they play for the Dallas Cowboys. That's something I haven't really thought about until you said it, and it makes a lot of sense whenever you say it.
Yeah, so put it like this, right? Let's say if you go to the Dallas Cowboys right now, and I ask you this question, you're going to say, who are the leaders on the team? And you probably don't have an answer. But if you go back to when I won the Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos, you're going to say, who are the leaders on the team? You start thinking about, okay, Peyton Manning, right? Demarcus Ware on defense, and then everything else gets quiet, and you're like, okay, well, and then there was a whole bunch of other great players like Aqib Talib, TJ Ward, Von Miller, but there were leaders on the team that you can actually point out and say, I'm going to point my finger at this guy, and he's going to get the team right. And it wasn't the coaches. It wasn't like the coaches saying, oh, it was Kubiak or Del Rio at the time. No, I'm going to point at DeMarcus, and I'm going to point at Peyton. And I don't see that. There's no guy to point the finger at that's saying, hey, are you getting the team right on offense? Are you getting the team right on defense? Where is that?
Did you enjoy that role?
I did. I mean, as a captain, dude, 90 guys every year, like I wanted to. I wanted to get guys right. It was one of those things where I'm going to mentor you on the field, I'm going to mentor you on the field and off the field. Like it didn't matter, because that was my role. You nominated me to be the captain. So when I wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning, I'm going to get my mind right. When I tell you what's up and how the team needs to be ran, you need to get your mind right, because no matter what, I'm going to hold myself accountable on what I need to do, and I need for you to do the same.
Yeah, I wore the C one year. And, when I woke up in the morning, I was like, all right, let's keep everybody on a good fucking mood today.
hey, and they were in a good mood because you was kicking.
Hey, by the way, that's a big deal, though. I think the glue guy is a big deal. This whole thing. When you won a Super Bowl with Peyton, and you talk about Peyton there, and I got a chance, obviously, watch Peyton work in Indianapolis.
Right.
Peyton ran the offense. Right. We had offensive coordinators. Okay, we had quarterback coaches, but even if you ask, even if you ask them, right, they'll be like, yeah, this is Peyton's offense. Adam Gase has gotten 7 jobs since that year with Peyton or whatever. Was it not amazing to watch Peyton kind of operate after all your years in the NFL? I assume with seeing other people. Watching the way Peyton operates, and I'm learning this is not normal. He was a very different, the way he ran things was very different. Because I say it to AJ, I'm like, is this kind of what it was like with Aaron? Like Aaron's like telling people like, okay, yeah, you get off the field, you get on the field, we're going to redo this in practice. He's like, no, I think Peyton had his own. Was that a special thing, or had you seen like, did Romo do that or anybody else in the past to kind of operate the way Peyton operated?
I think no one operated like Peyton. It was one of those things where when we're on the field, from an offensive and defensive standpoint, if they messed up, we just started over. It wasn't like, we can be 10 plays in and we mess up on 3 plays. We start back over at number 1, and the practice is prolonged because we messed up. Same thing on defense. But then in the locker room and also in the meeting rooms, I've never seen a guy, how we had those huge meeting rooms. He would actually put all the offensive line, he'll put everybody in their position, and he would be in the back of the room. And he would call the play out. And they would, put on the play on the projector, and he would say, hey, so left guard, what do you have on this play right here? And he would actually set it up like this in practice. And he said, if I'm going to say spaghetti, meatballs, and pizza, what are you guys going to do? And, what are you going to do right receiver? What are you going to do slot receiver? Running back. The running back's right beside him. What are you going to do? I said, man, that is so cool to really watch film and put the guys in the positions where now they actually are looking at the right guard or left guard, or they see the wide receiver where he needs to be. So he portrayed it in the film room as if you were on the field to make it real. And I was like, man, that's a whole different beast. And he did that every single play.
It's wild because there's stories, obviously, before I got to the Colts, legendary stories of Peyton just in those team meetings being like, well, actually, that's not going to be how it goes. It's going to go like this, instead, and just kind of sits back down. And then everybody's like, yeah, well, yep, that is how it's going to go.
Right.
Like, it didn't matter who was speaking. It didn't matter if it was general manager. It didn't matter if it was head coach. It didn't matter if it was the doctor talking about medical stuff. It was like if Peyton stood up and was like, hey, we're not going to do that on our day off, actually. That'll happen on Wednesdays. And then just sit back down. It's like, all right, everybody take that's happening on Wednesday. It was like, everybody was
like, okay, guys, on Wednesday, we're going to do all of our run plays. We're going to run through, how we're going to attack the trenches today. And Peyton's like, okay, well, I think we need to do 2 minutes because we're going to start the game off in 2 minutes. And I'm looking like, on Wednesday? Wednesday is actually pass rush day, and you're running a 2 minute on Wednesday? Guess what? We ran 2 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It didn't matter.
Hey, who was a tackle that gave you problems? Who was an offensive lineman that whenever you played against, you knew it was going to be maybe a little bit more difficult? Not that you hadn't met much trouble with anybody. 20 sacks in one season is hilarious to think about. But who was somebody that you knew like every week you were going to play them, it was going to potentially be problematic?
Dude, it was, I go back into my earlier years with Walter Jones. Walter Jones was one of them dudes where, it took me maybe 10 games playing against him in like 3 years to get a sack on Walter Jones. I remember watching tape on Walter, and they were like, hey, this is a dude, he doesn't work out in the off season. I'm like, I should be all right then. And then I started to see him get like chains and stuff with the car behind him and like start walking up the hill with the car. And I started thinking to myself, okay, well, that's pretty cool. And then he started watching film, and when he hit one of those defensive ends, I'm talking about Michael Strahan, Jason Taylor, guys that I looked up to when I was playing college, and he would watch them to the sideline. I was like, is this real? Like, is this dude really doing this to the guys and I'm just coming in as my first and second year. Is he actually doing this to these guys that have been playing for 9 or 10 years at the Hall of Famers? Yes, he was. And he did the same thing to me, too. So, dude, Walter Jones, he was a beast when I played against him. I mean, look that guy up, man. He was, first ballot Hall of Famer, monster, man. Yeah, exactly. That dude right there, he's from Alabama, okay? I mean, corn-fed guy, when he puts his hands on you, you're not going anywhere.
Hey, yeah, he put his hands on Matt Hasselbeck's jaw in training camp and knocked him out, by the way. The story. What do you got, Ty?
DeMarcus, you sacked damn near everyone you played against, but who was like the one quarterback who it was just tough to get your hands on him, or maybe he escaped more sacks by you than anyone else?
Dude, it was Phillip Rivers. It took me 12 years. You heard what I just said? 12 years to get a sack on Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
When I played in Dallas, every single time I played him, he, talked a lot of trash, by the way. And he said, Demarcus, you're never going to get a sack on me. I'm going to take a penalty if you sack me. I'm going to actually get an intentional grounding. I'm just going to throw the ball out of bounds. Every single time I hit him, he would throw it down like it was a screenplay. He would throw it outside, and I'm pissed. and the last time we played him in Denver, I came around the corner, and he saw me, and he laid down. I wanted to hit him.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is like my moment. And I just touched him, knowing that there was going to be a sack. I mean, it didn't feel like a sack because I didn't hit him, but I still got that sack.
Yeah, you got it.
So I still got the sack. On paper, it's a sack.
Well, and Phil had to lay there and take that, for 12 years.
There you go.
Yeah, he had to lay there and take that, And him doing intentional groundings, though, so you can't get the satisfaction of a sack, might be one of my favorite things I've ever heard a quarterback do. That's next level mental warfare, by the way. Yeah. Oh,
and it made me, dude. Every single time I was so upset. Every single time I hit him, imagine you're hitting him and he just does like this,
just throw it.
I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Oh,
he's
awesome.
like, D-Ware, I can't give it to you, man. I can't give it.
That's awesome. Connor, what do you got?
Yeah, Demarcus, we always talk about pass rushing tandems, and obviously you were with Von Miller when he won Super Bowl MVP. But is there any other defensive line units that kind of stand out to you in your career for being kind of a special one?
In my career, I probably would think about the White Freeney, that tandem with who is that?
Robert Mathis.
It was the White Freeney. Yes.
Yeah, it's White and Robert.
Yeah, no, it was Robert Matthews. Matthews and
Mathis. Have a little respect.
Robert Mathis. I'm lost for words. Robert Mathis and the White Freeney. Man, when those two dudes came around the corner with them spin moves, it was, you probably were there to witness this.
It was awesome.
It was unbelievable.
It was awesome.
Unbelievable. You couldn't stop it, and they were so fast. It didn't matter who you were playing against. You probably can run the ball against them a little bit, but if you pass that football, you're going to have a long day.
Well, and you know this, whenever Peyton was a quarterback, Bill Polian loaded up on the offense so they would be ahead whenever they're in the lead. Okay, we'll get two incredible pass rushers. They have to pass the entire time. It was a great recipe. It was a really good recipe, a lot of success.
Same in Denver.
Yep.
Same in Denver. Peyton scored 27 by the half, and he looked at me and Vaughn and was like, hey, it's time for y'all to –
Hey, I did my job now. We're probably going to hand the ball off a little bit more in the second half here. Okay, you guys
right.
You guys got
probably going to punt and have a couple field goals here and there.
This has been awesome chat with you, man. Nick, what do you got?
Demarcus, you're obviously a physical specimen. How did you end up at Troy?
Oh, great question.
Dude. In high school, I got one scholarship to go to Troy. I remember sitting in detention. And Tracy Rocker came in there, and he said, hey, if you get out of detention, I'll give you a college scholarship. I'm a wide receiver, by the way, 185, 190 pounds, about 6'2".
Really?
And I went down to Troy, got a scholarship, and they put me at linebacker. I got crushed. They said, Demarcus, if we put a little weight on you, we can redshirt you this year. We put you at defensive end. And I remember the starter got hurt, and they put me in the football game. And it was against Nebraska. I got one sack. And the next game, he was still out because he had neck problems. We played UAB. So they were still in the Division I bracket with us because we just went from Division I AA. And I had 4 sacks, 14 tackles, something crazy. It was 6 tackles for a loss. It was something crazy. And they were like, well, we're going to leave DeMarcus in the game. I know he's only 220 pounds, but just leave him in there and see what he can do. And that's where my career started.
Yeah, smart. I'm surprised the coach didn't come up to you, hey, kid, you're not catching another fucking football. Just want to let you know that you're going to put your hand in the dirt every single play.
And you're going to rush.
And you are going to make the Hall of Fame, by the way. Congrats on everything. We cannot wait to get started on D2W. We just checked it out. We go ahead, Dig.
I was looking up his college stats real quick. Do you have a punt return in your career at Troy?
Yeah.
And defensive end, was this before you went to defensive end, or was this while you were defensive end?
No. I was actually on punt return, and they kicked it to me. And I actually got the ball and ran it in. So it was probably like a 60-yard punt. You know, I'm blocking. You know, it was like one of those hands team type things.
Oh.
And so they kicked it to me, thinking that, okay, D Ware's just going to lay down. No. I'm going to get this thing, and I'm going to try to take it to the house.
Yeah. Need that.
And I got that. I need that.
D2W, Driven to Win is the app. We're going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a go. We'll talk to you.
Let me know what you think, man.
Zito already downloaded it. This man right here might be the picture of your app here in about a month. He got you. He's going to get
it. There we go.
That's reality. We'll see what the augmented reality creates the future. Demarcus, we appreciate you, man. You were awesome. Demarcus Ware. See you, man. Have a good one.
Deuces.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
He was a physical specimen.
Yeah.
Are we doing that? Did you already sign up? You already
signed up. Oh, yeah.
Here we go. D2W in the App Store. D2 Dub.
All in.
I got it too already. It's a surprise that the two fattest humans in this office already downloaded it.
I think I'm catching up, man. I've been going on like a 4-day run here
as well.
Yeah,
Right behind you.
Yeah, I think kind of potentially.
It's football season.
Well, it's holidays.
Yeah. Let's go to Juan in Idaho. What's going on, Juan? Juan, what's going on, bub?
Oh, you know, up here in Idaho, just working in the office, sending out some invoices and listening to PMI.
Oh, nice. We appreciate you, man. Charging people for some goddamn potatoes out there. What do you want to talk about, brother?
Well,
what if he wasn't?
Pat, the Cowboys suck.
Yeah, they do.
I'm glad they suck. I hate the Cowboys. My mom's whole side of the family loves the Cowboys, so they kind of suck. Oh, yeah. But Christina,
the whole family.
Christina, my Aunt Christina, says that they do suck. She admits it, but she says that Jerry Jones has been a little bit quiet.
He has kind of been quiet, right? I think it's because there hasn't been much. What I asked Demarcus Ware there is real. This is the first time they've ever been flexed out of Sunday Night Football. So obviously, once a certain time of the year comes, I forget which week it is, maybe week 7 or week 8 or something. Flexing can begin where games that matter that were scheduled for the 1:00 hour can get flexed into the Sunday Night Football game. And if a game that sucks is scheduled for Sunday Night Football, that thing gets flexed out of Sunday Night Football just to a basic ass 1:00 game only on the NFL Red Zone, whatever you get it, the direct ticket thing. Is that what it's called?
Sunday ticket.
DirecTV Sunday ticket thing. So this is something that whenever you're on a team and you outperform what they think you're going to perform, because the schedule makers, this weekend there's a lot of games that matter because the schedule makers make that forethought prediction. We think these teams, this will matter. So at the end, there's kind of good games, but the ability to flex out, I assume NBC pitched it and the NFL said, yeah, you got it. This is the first time ever. And the Dallas Cowboys have been on national television 8 weeks a year for the last 20 years. This is the first time ever they've been flexed out of the goddamn game. NBC was like, listen, Jer, I know that you control the pen for a lot of these deals that potentially is going to be Sunday Night Football in the future, but you can't fucking bury the league. We got to get your team out of here. First time ever. That is massive. And Jerry has been awfully quiet, and I'd assume that's because he knows where they're at right now. I think he knows. I think everybody knows. And maybe that's good for the future because Jerry has a little realization of what's going on down there.
Need that sometimes.
I don't know why Jerry gets all the blame. And that sounds bad, but they have a great roster.
They do.
On paper.
Now, I don't know if he meddles in everything, and if he does that, then it's obviously his fault. But it seems like everybody's always just like, it's Jerry's fault, it's Jerry's fault, it's Jerry's fault. But every draft day, you're like, Jerry had a great draft. So what is Jerry doing that's so bad? Maybe it's because he makes everybody stars and there isn't enough, too many chefs, not enough cooks.
There you go.
You know what I mean? In the kitchen. Arby's, speaking of kitchen, you don't need a kitchen. You just need to order Arby's right now.
Hell yeah.
10 different kinds of meats, 25 different sandwiches, 9 different kinds of breads, unique sides like mott sticks, jalapeno poppers, and of course their amazing curly fries, which you can get cheese dip. Oh my God.
It's better.
Knock it off with the greasy pizza and burgers. Not only does Arby's have a menu with something for everyone, but also their food is better and higher quality than everybody else. Get your Arby's today and can get delivered to your house with DoorDash. Use promo code MEATS for free delivery. Your orders of $15 or more. Hour 2 is on the other side. Go take a shit.
Lakers welcome to the Blender, the home of a team and a fan base on a playoff push the likes the world has never seen before. Crescent City, get on your feet for tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Sprite, an incredibly refreshing drink. Starting at forward was the number 2 overall pick in the 2016 NBA draft. Now he's an NBA All-Star, Brandon Ingram. At forward, this man has been dunking on little white kids on the internet for 10 years. The incomparable, unstoppable, 6'6" phenom, Zion Williamson. At center, standing at 8 feet tall, from Georgia Tech, number 22, Derek Favors. This man's family had a reality show in Lithuania. He was born and raised in LA, but he found his J in the N-O. Lonzo Ball. And the OG of the roster. On the court, he's a monster. Braids hanging, shots banging. It's not Drew, it's Drew Holiday. Let's get this done. Thank you very much. Go Pelicans.
Tired of me right now.
That's how you play basketball. This will be a 5-bowler from the Red Panda. Up we go. Yes! 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 Red Panda!
What a legendary moment.
You're a legend. It's an honor.
Right, so mission accomplished, right? Come down, intro some players, throw some bowls to Red Panda, fly back to Indianapolis. Success story, Foxy. What a fucking night.
This next song is called Tornado by Who Are You? Ooh. Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. It's coming. Grab your ankles.
Hold on to the cars. Have you ever seen the movie Twister? It's getting a bit windy out here. Some warm weather, cold weather, meeting right here. There's a problem. It's a tornado. There's a problem. Do we want it? Hell no. The song goes hard. Yeah, the beat goes ham, and it's so fucking breezy. I can't even stand. Gotta go to the basement, away from all the windows. Cause if I'm near them, then I will fucking feel those. Cause the wind is the glass, and the glass will break. How much can the house fucking take? Just a couple months ago, I was standing outside, right next to my beautiful wife, when we heard a fucking train about to come through the trees, and we sprinted to the basement, almost made me fucking pee, because the breeze was coming. Yeah, I like this one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, this one's pretty good. That one's pretty good.
know it's time to go. We keep them hands up. We keep them hands up. We keep them hands up. The crowd is saying, whoa. We keep them hands up. We keep them hands.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Thursday, December 10th, 2020. Hour 2 of the dumbest show to ever be broadcasted on YouTube begins right now. There's been dumb shows on YouTube. So, I mean, we got to be up there, though. That conversation with Demarcus Ware was awesome. Hopefully it changes the fitness levels of our entire office. We signed up for D2W. Let's go. Driven to Win, an app that he released yesterday that will make people very, very fit, I believe. Zito has officially signed up for it. It is a year-long membership you bought.
Yes, I did.
Right?
Yep.
And it's a trainer in your pocket.
Yeah.
How much do they cost now? Did we look at the prices?
Year-long
membership.
Year-long is $99.99.
$99.99 for a year.
You save
long.
44% though, because $8.33 a month.
That's nothing.
That's basically nothing.
$8 a month.
$8.33 a month.
$8.33. That's on me.
All right. I was wondering. I didn't know.
No, that's on me.
I would pick the $8 one.
One payment of $8 and one payment of $33.
Got it. Okay.
What's a better investment? We let Zeke do that, or we just buy a new couch every year?
Geez. Come on! I put a pillow under it, so I don't fucking do it no more.
We will need a new couch. The couch was not. Gumpy, you need to take it easy. Back there, Gumpy. The couch was not purchased to be used every single day like it has been.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
To Zito's credit, it was supposed to only be like once every once in a while if we happen to have somebody in here.
Yeah.
But now we've moved.
I even change cushions every once in a while.
Well, it's not your fault, though, Zito. The couch wasn't built to have you on there every single day. So Nick taking a shot at you is very rude.
No, it's built to have like a normal human being on it.
Oh, come on.
Jeez,
I'm very happy Evan's a Steelers fan now. I'm so happy.
Yeah, the internet is a buzz about Evan Fox becoming a Steelers fan last week and then them losing their first game this week.
Something to think about, Detroit. Sell your goddamn team. The fans don't even want to be fucking fans of your own franchise anymore.
No, that's not what Foxy said. At Evan Foxy is a diehard Lions fan. But what he said, I actually can agree with, because growing up, obviously you have the Pirates, right, in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a big baseball fan, but if I, highlights, like, okay, go to a baseball game, here we go, okay, let's go. And then there's always like at, 5-6 games in, you knew they weren't going to make it. And it's like, all right, I'm a Yankees fan now. I want to be with a team.
Got to have a contender.
The team that's paying enough money. The team that owner is like, listen, I'm going to spend more money than everybody else and I'm going to win. I'm like, okay, yeah, I think I want to go for that team. I want to go for the team that the owner says, fuck everybody else. I'm going to dump I'm going to exhaust every single option I have to have this team win. I'm like, okay, that's the team I want to be. And everybody's like, well, you're a bandwagon fan. I was like, well, I could just not be a fan of the sport at all, which is inevitably what I did become. Yeah. So, so that's kind of how it goes. Now, with the Lions, though, fans are diehard, but I think they have to have a realistic look at some point. When was the last time? 1950 what?
1957.
Bro, think about that. Like, the Lions should be asking their fans to get a playoff team to cheer for. You know what I mean? Like, hey, just don't leave us entirely. Yeah. Like, at least just have us for whenever, maybe we make a run. But if it's going to happen just like it has happened since 1957, we understand. Go ahead and get a playoff team as well. Maybe we'll be a good tag team for your fandom, Connor.
Yeah, but they finally do the right thing and fire Patricia. I mean, and we all know that the curse isn't going to.
Whoa.
Finally do the right thing.
They do finally do the right thing and fire one of the greatest fourth quarter coaches of all time. However, he still, has had a tough season. But if they had enough fans that were true fans, they would all just pitch in $1, make a fund, pay Calvin Johnson the $1 million that, he's owed.
1.25.
1.25. Oh, so they don't have enough fans.
There's no way they have 1.25 million fans. There's no way.
Not a chance.
And by the way, they're going to have even less fans if they don't let their fans have an actual playoff team to cheer for because the fans are just not going to like the sport, by the way, which is what happened to me with baseball. So what I'm trying to say is maybe we should be a little bit more open about Lions fans becoming fans of teams that are actually going to have a run so that we can at least keep them around as fans of the game and for the league. And is that what we're about here? Is we're for the Shield. So for the Shield.
And also, I'm getting a lot of Steelers fans that are saying, stay away from the Steelers, Fox.
Oh, it's not an inclusive bunch.
Why would they do that?
Steelers fans not an inclusive bunch.
Rangers stink, dude.
Well, maybe just wait till your team's mathematically out of the playoff race.
Thank you.
This is kind of an Anthony Lynn move, what you just did right there.
Right when they get back into the race, the kid's unlatching his wagon to the horses of the Lions.
Listen.
Sell the team. The fans don't give a fuck about the Lions.
They don't.
They finally get a chance to get back in, like Umby just said. You know what? Actually, I'm going to pick a team that has a real chance. Why don't you fucking believe in your organization, Fox?
Wait, Connor. Jeez. If you were in Detroit.
Yeah.
Any single ounce of you believe in the Detroit Lions.
If I was in Detroit,
you wouldn't. You can't.
Also, it would be the must-win season, then be the must-win season, then be the third prequel season.
Well, we'll find. Hey, by the way, we will find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Well, yeah.
This will get tested over the next decade. By the way,
it will.
Yeah, it will. It will.
If you think that Bill Belichick is going to let New England suck for as long as the Lions have sucked, you're crazy.
You're right. Bill might coach still. He's 90.
Well, and
imagine Bill and Ernie up there like those two old Muppets.
Exactly.
What is that? They're up in like the thing, just like those two that just sit up in the thing. Yeah, whatever they are. Yeah, those things. Statler and Waldorf is that what you said? What if that's Bill and Ernie? Is that really their name?
That's really their name?
What if that is what Belichick and Ernie are going to do for the next 30 years up there?
You see this garbage down on the field? Yeah. It stinks.
That's what they did, right? That was their entire thing? Oh, yeah.
Did you watch the Ernie doc that came out this week or whatever? I saw it floating around the internet.
But he told me I should. I'm very intrigued by that, man. I would like to watch that.
Yeah, one of the best parts is just Ernie standing behind the quarterbacks of every team that they're going to play right before the game, just to be like, oh yeah, no, this guy stinks. He's not good at football. Bill, just blitz.
The YouTube comment section saying you're on cocaine right now.
Oh yeah, I heard that before.
Yeah, by the way, that happens to me
not
a lot.
the first or last time.
Yeah, but that's Bill and Ernie right there for sure.
And you know who's on the field coaching? Steve Belichick.
True, he probably
is. Yeah.
So,
So they'll never have the Lions. But you can never understand what it's like then to be Evan Fox.
You'll never
You can never understand. You would never understand.
I know. I won't, and I don't want to.
Yeah, but you shouldn't. Then you shouldn't be saying like, "Well, you shouldn't be doing that."
Well, I know a fan of a team and a guy who's bandwagon latching his wagon every single thing. He sounds like Orlovsky back there.
Whoa!
That's what he sounds like.
Easy. All right, listen. The Lions have to play the Packers, the Buccaneers, and the Titans still. Do you think they're going to win any of those games? Be honest.
I don't know. Have a little faith, Fox. Any given Sunday is what we're talking about.
I'm an experienced Lions fan. I've been doing this for 26 years.
Wait a minute.
I know that they're not going to win.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about what you two are talking about right now. Okay? Nobody cares. All right? Everything should have stopped abruptly whenever you called him the Dan Wagon, Dan Orlovsky.
Wow.
With this kid has been miserable for 30 years of his life because of this team.
Well, then what's 31 matter? Make it one more shitty year, okay? Stop unlatching your wagon to different teams, damn it. Wait till Stafford leaves at least.
All right, let's Anthony Lynn did it as a head coach, and we judged it very heavily.
Yeah.
I guess we should treat the Lions fans the exact same way.
If you want to be in the greatest league on earth, you better act like the greatest fans on earth, all right?
No, you guys have proven that, haven't you? I mean, Patriots fans have proven that.
Damn right.
Yeah,
we have.
Yeah, you have. All right. We debuted a new segment earlier today on Twitter, and I think it's time to potentially roll it out into the actual show here.
Yeah.
Welcome to a new segment called Hashtag Questions from the Twitter. See this? With a whistle on there and everything. For those that are just listening, a Twitter graphic just popped up. That was the whistle you heard there. The Zito or the Foxy put together the graphic. We got a lot of questions from the Twitter this morning. We can't thank them enough. Let's get to it. Here's from Blake Wellstead at Wellstead_Blake. Haven't actually watched any of the Browns games this year. Are they legit? Are the Browns problematic? Or for the Steelers, I believe you probably assume they're hashtag questions from the Twitter. This is going to be a lot of people's problems, I think. And this happens with some teams where maybe in the the region you live, some games just won't get played. If you don't have Sunday ticket and you don't get to watch the entire game, or maybe Red Zone, you only watch Red Zone, you don't get to see an entire game. I believe this does happen. Now, I am very lucky that I tried to watch every single game. It is very hard, even if you have enough television. So I would assume that not everybody should be trying to do it, by the way. It is a potential regrettable move every single week while I'm trying to do it, because I start to forget things from one game and another game. And I'm like, wait, did they play that yesterday or they play that 2 weeks ago? Because I remember something happening. So it's very difficult to watch all the games. And I think the NFL tries to do its best job of getting everybody recapped on everything that's happening. But most sports shows only talk about certain things happening because there's only a few things that people really care about. So whenever you're talking about a team who has been historically bad and they kind of come up out of nowhere, even though the last couple of years they were supposed to come up out of nowhere, you can see how people potentially don't know anything about the Browns.
Sure.
Okay, and I can see it. I've watched the Browns. The thing about the Browns is we don't know either. Okay, so even if you watch the Browns, I think Browns fans, they're pumped. They're 9-3. Hey, we're having success. It feels good. They like Stefanski. But I think they know that there's a chance that this team could be really good or this team could be average. Because the way they've played really good at times. Really, really, really good at times. And then they've played really bad at some times too. Now, as of late, they've been playing a lot better, which in December, you want to play your best football. We talked to Jarvis Landry last week. He was a great conversation. He feels very happy with where that team is. We talked to him a day after his birthday, I think, or maybe a day, 2 days after his birthday, and he had just had 120 yards and a couple of touchdowns the day before that. So that offense is potentially coming together at the right time. So are the Cleveland Browns problematic for the Steelers? We don't know, because we don't know which Browns team is the Browns team, because they are such a new team to relevance whenever you're talking about this style of football. But if they're going to continue to play the way they have been playing, yes, they are a problem for almost everybody, I think. Now, everybody's going to run into a problem with the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC. That's just the way it goes, because of how much they can score at the drop of a dime. But the Browns are a team if they play like they can play, not just how sometimes the Browns end up inevitably playing. So it's a big potential culture change in Cleveland. And Blake, I think it's a good question. And know that they do have the capability to be a real team, I think.
Yeah, I don't know why the Steelers were thrown in there. Like the Browns.
AFC North, I think, is what they're. Because Myles Garrett tweeted the other day that, the door just opened.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's the Walter Payton Man of the Year, so, I mean, he could say whatever he wants.
Yeah, I think Mason Rudolph is trending.
Yeah, Mason Rudolph was trending.
Because of Myles Garrett's Walter Payton Man of the Year award. And I'll say this. I was once, I believe, nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year for the Indianapolis Colts. It is a massive honor. Obviously, Walter Payton was an incredible man. I think it is judged upon the amount of community work that you do in a given year. I would assume Myles Garrett has been doing a lot of community work to let people know in Cleveland, like, hey, although I had a moment of anger and rage that everybody on earth saw where I took another man's helmet off of his head and then I beat him with it, that is not the human I am. So I assume that the Cleveland Browns and everybody else is like, we need the world to know that Myles Garrett is not the human that they saw in one moment of his life, of his entire life. That is not who he is. So I would assume that's why. And by the way, I don't know what they base winning and losing off of, like the award for it. I would assume that his community work is probably a lot compared to a lot of people, especially in this 2020 where you really haven't been able to do much.
Yeah, and he's had a lot of off time to do that.
Oh, why do you say that? Oh, because
he was suspended for so many games.
Oh, because what we were talking about, that one moment in his life, by the way. That one moment in his life. Since then, he's gotten paid
a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Couldn't they have at least done like a buffer year? So people weren't right away going to be like, he tried to fucking kill a guy last year on the football field.
Well, the guy that he did almost kill on the football field is trending right now. So I don't think, we probably thought of that as soon as we saw his name on the list, where our first thought was like, the internet's going to have a field day with this probably. I mean, we probably thought that, but the people that were thinking were probably like, hey, we could probably get right back to this right now, letting people know that one moment isn't who Myles Garrett actually is. And the internet was like, well, a little bit too soon. I just want to let you know what we think. I know you guys are pushing probably a lot of photos of him going to hospitals and maybe in doing things like that. And you're pushing those photos, but the photos everybody's thinking of is the yeah, but you're right. But I'm happy Myles Garrett's got back into the community, by the way. He bounced back. Now, it's happening because he's an incredible football player. Be who you can afford to be, obviously. If that guy was an incredible football player, it'd be a much different story, but he is. But I like that the sport and the league is giving a guy an opportunity to have one potentially massive, catastrophic fuck up. But it's going to be hard to win over a bunch of people, I think. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, you can see how it goes.
For the Browns, they'll just beat the Ravens this weekend and we'll take you very seriously.
Yeah, and the Ravens, by the way, could be a tough team to beat right now. They just beat the dog shit out of the Dallas Cowboys without a wide receiver named Des Bryant, who got pulled in the middle of warm-ups against his former team after being forced to take a COVID test, and that COVID test coming back positive, ripping him off the field after he'd already warmed up a little bit and dapped up the entire Dallas Cowboys roster, telling him he cannot play, it is a danger. Turns out those were probably that was probably a false positive, so Des Bryant most likely got screwed in his redemption game against the Dallas Cowboys by science of some sort. But hey, happy he survived.
Yeah, there you
happy
go.
he survived. You could see how he'd be incredibly pissed immediately upon that positive, telling him he can't play, and him going, I just tested negative literally 8 hours ago. How could have? Sorry, you can't play. Can we take another test? Well, I won't get back till tomorrow. You motherfucker. You could see how he would say, you know what, I'm going to call it a quit. That's what he actually these motherfuckers, I can't do this. Because that was probably a pretty big passion game for him. But they didn't even have Des Bryant on the field. And not that he's like a X factor, although he is, and that is his thing, is the X. But he was starting to get more reps, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
He was starting to get more balls. I believe Marquise Brown was probably pretty happy that he was on the field for him. It's just interesting situation. But you're right. If the Brownies beat the Ravens, whole different conversation. Let's go to another question from the Twitter. This is from @friggin Bigwig. Pat, what is the longest field goal you've ever made, practice and game? Thank you, DJ Slick Rick. DJ Slick Rick. Friggin' big wig on the track. So I actually had him pull up the video. Jamie Cole's kicking camp. This is at Whitewater, Wisconsin. I believe this is from 70 yards. I forget who was holding for me. He was 70 yards ponytail, probably 14 to 15 beers the night before at a local bar there. And then here's 75 yards. Bingo, yeah, it goes through. It took me a couple tries there from 75. I actually almost quit because I was coming up like 2 yards short every single time, and I was like, I don't got it. I was like, I don't think I got it. By the way, happy with 72, like pretty pumped. But yeah, and Jamie Cole was like, hey, you're 2 yards short. You think your leg's ever going to be doing this again? And I got a camera. We hit a couple more. I was like, I don't know, Jamie. I mean, I feel like my legs would fall off right now. I mean, you were with me last night, okay? We are doing this now. He was like, you got to hit a couple more. All of a sudden, hit one. It goes through. Immediately after I go, hey, probably smart. I'm happy we did that.
Thank you.
Happy we did it. But that's the furthest I've ever gone. It happens to be on camera, which is cool. I wish I would have traveled to Denver back whenever my leg was live to see what I could do. That would have been a lot of fun. I kicked a soccer ball 124 miles an hour at one point whenever a radar gun was on. I mean, he used to have a very strong leg. There's guys that can hit from 75 and everything like that, but man, not a lot. I mean, not a lot. It's pretty cool. Pretty little fun.
You have like a longest punt in the air or like anything like that or not?
No. I didn't go for that. Like in practice, there's always videos of people hitting balls like 110 yards because it rolls out the back. Like, that happens in practice, I think, for a lot of guys or whatever. But, no, yeah. Punting was not the one where I could hit it as far as everybody else because it wasn't as flexible. So I'm just trying to hammer this thing as high as possible.
Flexibility matter for field goal kicking as much or not?
Well, it probably would have helped if I. Now that I'm thinking back, it probably would help out with the control a little bit, But for me, I was just like a loaded gun. Like I always told him, because those really thick, tight rubber bands, those things bounce back a lot quicker.
Oh, yeah.
So anytime that they made me go through these entire physicals, you would have to go through these physicals where they would have like a pole down your back. You'd have to hold it, and you'd have to like squat with like a straight back, and like your knee has to go straight down. And then they give you a score like 1 to 5 on how you did, and you got to flip, and then you got to do all this shit. They almost failed me every single year going into the season. I would have like the lowest score out of everybody on everything. He's like, this year we got to work on your flexibility or whatever. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's get after it. Yeah, let's get after it. By the way, I've been told that since I'm like fifth grade, maybe sixth grade or whatever. And I've always said the same thing. You ever see one of them loose rubber bands have any power? And they're like, well, it depends on if you pull it back. I was like, that's going to take some time. Like, you get one of those tight rubber bands, that thing's coming back real quick.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but when that thing pops, it goes. I'm like, well, funny you say that because those loose ones, whenever they pop, it's just like a fizzle out. Like, you know what I mean? Rather have that son of a bitch blow up if it's going to go than anything.
VSIT always got us for the presidential award.
Never was up for it. Couldn't touch my fucking toes. -10 every time because they would measure it from the tip of your toes.
Yep. Yeah.
And you would have to sit and do that thing. And I would be at like the top of my shins, and they're like, sir, can you go any further than that? We have to extend this thing back. A -10. It's like, God, got people going to Washington, D.C. to do all these things that are about 1/10 the athlete I am because I can't touch my fucking toes representing our goddamn school. Still that way, by the way. Still that way. Functionally, I can move, though. You know, like I watched the match back the other night. I got folded over top of myself a couple of times. Not sure I could do that right now, like without having to, get thrown into it.
Sure.
Yeah, it'd be tough. Who likes stretching, by the way? That fucking shit is the worst. Dude. I start sweating. Yeah, he does. He stretches before every goddamn show.
Yeah, I had to give that up.
Yo, you're done with it.
It's too hard.
It hurts so bad.
Sucks.
But I guess it's really good for you. That's what they say.
Of course.
I never really had any muscle issues. It was always, ligament stuff, and that's probably because the muscles were pulling on them so much.
There it is.
So all those people telling me I should have stretched now that we're thinking about it with old knees, like, they're probably right. Yeah, but ain't no motherfucker kick the ball like that. They're stretching. Kind of live by the sword, die by the sword. What's another question from around the Twitter? At Chad Lehman says, do you think Aaron Rodgers will finish his career in Green Bay? And if no, what team could you see him on? Parentheside, diehard Packer fan, parentheside. Again, my pops is his bodyguard on away games. Okay. Shout out to Mr. Lehman for taking care of Aaron at away games. I would assume that some opposing fans have some potential things to either throw at Aaron or say to Aaron. And Chad Lehman's dad here is just taking that one right on the chin, telling him to get your ass in your seat back there. So I appreciate that. You know what? I think I'll let Ty follow up after this. My thoughts, I assume his is the same, just because we talk about this on a regular basis. I think we all thought Aaron was going to finish with Green Bay Packers. Then draft night happened. Now I think we all understand it's probably not a probability at this point.
Yeah, it'd be tough to see with the way he's playing. I don't think it's going to be the same, like where they're just going to cut bait like they might have when they got Jordan Love and thought that he was, not as good as he used to be. But he said he wants to play until he's like 45 or, 50 or whatever, and he's not showing that he can't, so I assume that he will end his career somewhere else.
Yeah, I think so too. And, it'd be great to have him in Indianapolis. Come on down. Come on down and sling it for the shoe. Come on, man. Come on down.
Is there any chance Jordan Love gets some sort of playing time over the next 2 years and they realize, this guy isn't as good, and they re-sign Rodgers?
Well, I have no idea.
And I don't even know if it matters because if Rodgers plays like this, it's like, well, it doesn't matter because Jordan Love's not as fucking good as he is. So, that's why it's
Great
still
question,
maddening.
Chad. Tell your dad we said thanks. We got to get to a break. On the other side, we got Tom Pelissero. Ooh. This beat is hilarious.
Interesting.
Cash Machine Anno Domini beats. I feel like there was potentially how many sounds can we get in? You know what I mean? Let's go ahead. Oh, yep, that one can fit. What else can we get in there?
Whammy, 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 whammy.
There it is. That's it. Oh, yeah. By the way, just real quick, we've heard on the radio that our voices sound terribly. That is not on our end. I do not, because the YouTube show is good. I assume this is some tech thing going on, which could potentially be our side, I guess. But we have double-checked, triple-checked, quadruple-checked.
Let me check
No,
real quick.
scratch that 7 times. That's for inside the office. We have checked it a lot of times, and we don't know why it's still going out that way. So we apologize if it sounds like we are talking in one of those chambers almost or whatever.
Bank robbers.
Or you have a dart in your neck.
Let's get to a break. Let's get to a break. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Thursday, December 10th. Tom Pelissero joins us on the other side. What's going on with this Dez Bryant test, Tom? Is everybody getting tested in warm-ups or just people that have vendettas against the team they're playing against?
Good question.
Who's running the show around here, Tom? We'll talk to him on the other side about that and much more. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Why is football the greatest sport on earth? And do you think football is the greatest sport on earth? And why do you like football?
That's a really deep question there, Pat.
I know. I think I can get a good answer out of you, though. I think you'd be able to talk about it in a way that I think a lot of people haven't, because you've been at the pinnacle of it for so damn long and inside of it, and your brain is a pretty fantastic one. We've learned here over the last few weeks, obviously. Last few weeks, that's it. That's all the time we've learned that.
I think it's the greatest sport in the world for one main reason. It is a true team sport where it is damn near impossible for one person to dominate an entire game. If you look at other team sports, basketball with 5 guys on the court, I think you've seen multiple players over the years. Maybe one player, maybe 1 or 2 players on a squad be able to dominate and win championships. Baseball, you can have a dominant pitcher and win championships. Soccer, you can have a dominant forward and or goalie. That seems to be a little more of a team sport, but you don't have 11 players engaged at the same time on every play. It is truly a sport reliant on every player on the field to do their job in order to be successful. And I think that's why at times, certain star players can get maybe too much credit and maybe too much blame on the flip side, because it does take so many players at the same time in 3 phases to win football games. And I think that's the beauty and the draw of our sport, is that something new happens all the time, because you are literally dealing with 11 humans on the field at one time who all have lives outside of football, and there's distractions, there's a reliance on coaching, there's a reliance on preparation, there's a reliance on diet and performance. I just think there's so many facets to it that you see something new every single week, and I think that's the beauty in our game. When it comes to the love that I have for it, it's rooted, and I think like any player who's played for a long time, the love is not just about our sport, it's about competition. And I think there's nothing in the world for me that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. I think players who play for a long time at a high level, you have that need to be satiated competitively, and it's a love of going out there and going against guys and being in an environment where you know that nothing is guaranteed. And that's why at times I've taken umbrage to people saying that it's easy, because it's not easy. It's never easy. And I think that's the beauty in our game, is that you see things new every single week. It's never easy. And your only thing you're guaranteed is the ability to compete. I love that aspect of it. I love competing. I love going out there and harnessing the fear of failure, where I think so many people who maybe don't love football as much, the root of that is a deep fear of failure, that you might go out there and your best might not be good enough, and that's not okay with you.
I didn't think I could continue to be an FCC-regulated person without really hitting my max potential.
And that's why he's with us. I love it. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Needed this.
Yeah, you guys thought there was a chance that this song disappeared because we got new songs in the thing. No. They only got like 4,000 followers or something like that on Instagram, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think. I went and checked out the boys over there. Do they have other songs we're allowed to play? I wonder.
I would assume so.
I
They sent an album.
I assume they make more bangers. Oh, yeah, they send an actual CD.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Tell them to save that money, though. Don't waste any money on CDs.
Vinyl, please.
Joining us now is a man who, I feel like has all the knows in the world of knowing in the NFL. A man who is on the NFL Network. He's an insider from the NFL. He's also on NFL Daily, which is a show that's on NFL Network every single day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And he is Thursday Night Football, continues tonight on Fox NFL Network and Amazon Prime Video, at Tom Pelissero on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Pelissero.
Nobody does a better intro. You sold those promo reads like nobody I've ever.
Well, every single time I try to get it right, and they they adjust, which is good, by the way. Keep them on toes. So it sounds fresh, so it sounds new. It's good, but you do so many things. You do so many things, it's hard to keep up with everything. Thursday Night Football continues tonight. Patriots-Rams on Fox, NFL Network, and Amazon Prime Video.
All right.
So this man works for Amazon. This man works for NFL Network. He's online. He knows everything. And SiriusXM. He has a show on SiriusXM. I mean, Tom, you are everywhere. And anytime I get a chance to intro you, it is nothing but, pride and honor. Yeah. Pride and honor.
I think it was Tuesday or maybe it was the early game on Monday. My 6-year-old daughter was, watching before bedtime with me, and she was like, "Dad, can I type on your computer?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." She's like, "Well, I want to type. What should I type?" I go, "Write a story about me." And so she just typed, "My dad works for football." I'm like, that's more or less right. That nails it.
Let's talk about the football that you work for. Des Bryant, false positive in warm-ups playing against the Cowboys. Assume now this is all coming out from his Twitter account, so we don't know everything like that. Have all players been tested in warm-ups? Is this a normal thing? Because whenever everybody heard that he got pulled after getting tested in warm-ups after dapping up everybody, I think everybody's initial reaction was like, oh, it was a positive test. But mine was, oh, they're testing people in warm-ups too. Is this been a normal move? Why did he get tested? And could you see why and how he would be so pissed off about how this whole thing unfolded?
Absolutely understand the emotion for Dez, especially because it's the game against the Cowboys. I mean, this is one of the reasons he came back, was to have that opportunity to play against Dallas. There's some misconceptions here. First off, I would say, and I'm not disputing what Dez tweeted a short time ago, but I would say there's a procedure that they go through. They continue to test every day. I would hesitate to say it's a false positive yet, because there's still a process that's playing out. But here's what actually happened.
Okay, that's some interesting news. That's some breaking news.
There are not pregame warm-up tests. That's not a thing. With the Ravens, so every team is tested every day. When you get your test results back depends in part, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but it's true, on your proximity to the lab. A lot of teams get back their results either late at night. Some teams get them back at like 3, 4 in the morning the next day. The Ravens are so close to the lab, which is either in New Jersey or Philadelphia, I can't remember, but they're relatively close. So their samples get there and are run in batches, and they oftentimes know sooner than other teams. So where there are other teams where if they had a player test positive, or in Dez's case it was an inconclusive, they may not have known till the next day. Then you would have had a player participate in the game, find out the next morning that you had an issue, and then you would go through this same confirmation procedure. So what happened with Dez was it was about 2 hours before kickoff that they get back this inconclusive test. So at that point, several things happen. You rerun the original sample. You do a new POC, a point-of-care test, which are the rapid result ones, and then you do a new PCR test. And if the rerun and or the POC come back as positive, you're treated as positive and you're pulled. So the rerun was also inconclusive. They pulled Dez off the field, gave him a point-of-care test. That's the one that came back positive, and that's why Dez was not allowed to play in the game. So then they did go through the contact tracing procedures, which involves doing an interview with Dez, doing an interview with anyone who he may have been near or people who may have had an understanding of what he had been doing through the course of the day, who you had been around. And remember, the NFL, NFLPA protocols are designed that if you follow them, the masking, the social distancing and all that, you shouldn't have anyone who's considered a high-risk close contact. With the Broncos, it was they all took off their masks for 10, 20 minutes in a meeting. I know that there were, these Zapruder type of photos of Dez hugging one of his former teammates during warmups. That alone, I understand the optics of it, but that alone doesn't make you a high-risk close contact. Now, if they stood there afterward and talked for 10 minutes and had their masks off, that other player probably would have been pulled out of the game. A hug itself is not going to get you put into that protocol, and that's based upon their medical understanding of the virus and how it's transmitted. It's based on duration. It's based on where it occurs. Was it outdoors or was it in a car?
So
the windows
what you guys are saying,
what
the NFL is saying is, if our friend Boston Connor here, who has a light up Christmas sweater on,
this is the best I've ever seen Connor dressed.
Whoa! Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
He looks
Thank
good.
you, Tom. Thank you, Tom.
So The thing about
like an adult.
Thank you,
Tom. The thing about it is, he was so close to being like a real adult. Though the hat he chose to wear is the only one he has that doesn't match the sweater. Though, like he has 2 Patriots hats right in front of him that he could have just had like a full, like a whole thing, and he said no.
But that's more adult. You don't want a double letter. You don't want to have logo on the hat and on the jersey. Right? Mix it up.
Yeah.
You have other things in the closet. I can't believe I'm on Connor's side today. First time
I like
for everything.
Pelissero a lot.
Pelissero.
Pelissero stinks, but Pelissero's awesome.
Okay, so if let's say our friend Boston Connor here does have the COVID or whatever, you and I can do a DAP.
Okay.
Oh, we can do a DAP. It can be quick because the thing about COVID that the NFL is telling us is that thing is a little bit of a slow moving song.
5-second rule.
Yeah, he's got to feel the vibes a little bit.
It's through respiratory droplets. It's not through sweat. I mean, you probably shouldn't go around hugging everyone.
No, if he just
have a conversation after.
So those point of care ones, those POC ones, I think they only have like 90-95%, right? If the tester
They're less accurate than the PCR test. That's right. Although this is a new one that supposedly is more accurate, can detect the virus sooner.
Yeah, but nobody knows anything. Well, they do, and we hope everybody survives. But I can see how Dez is very upset about this whole thing. Let's go around the NFL a little bit. Christian McCaffrey was not at practice today. That thing just hit the internet. Somebody, a local reporter, I believe, said this is not good. I think he was in practice today. He's not in practice. Do you know anything about that? And what's going on down yonder?
He was limited in practice yesterday, and it sounds like this is more a thigh injury that he suffered while working out on his own during the bye week, as opposed to the shoulder, which is what had kept him out of late. And of course, he had the high ankle sprain before that. This is a guy who had never missed a game in his NFL career. They give him a massive contract extension back in April, $22 million signing bonus. The guy's played 3 games this entire season. Now, certainly he's had legitimate injuries along the way here, but if you're talking about team building and roster building and you're going to pay a running back $16 million a year, you can imagine that that's going to have some impact on your ability to compete when that guy is sidelined for now easily the majority of the season.
Yeah, I like what Matt Rule's been doing down there. I'll be excited to see what they end up doing next year with an entire offseason as well, to kind of hopefully an entire offseason to build as well. Tonight, Patriots, Rams, any information we should have going into there before we decide to bet massive amounts of monies on the Los Angeles Rams, Tom?
The only thing is that Cam Newton, who continues to be listed as questionable in the injury report with what I've been told is an abdominal strain that he suffered a couple of weeks ago. I was told last night he's fine. He's good to go. Obviously, their offense has not included a ton of downfield passing, but in terms of Cam's health, he should be all right for this game, which is obviously really important for that Patriots team.
The big thing on the internet this morning was Marvin Lewis was trending because I guess his name is coming back up for a lot of coaching jobs. And you've heard a lot of previous players talk about how, like Damian Woody put out a tweet yesterday that was basically like, y'all forget what the Bengals were before Marvin Lewis got there. And he broke down what the behind the scenes were there. Obviously, I mean, we've never talked about it, but other people do. There's no indoor practice facility. Right. The Bengals have bare bones in the scouting department. Coaches acted as scouts as well. And then basically Marvin Lewis was still able to win games there. Now, he never got them to the big one or whatever to make massive moves, but he was able to win games there. Is that why people are, like maybe Marvin Lewis was kind of unfairly judged immediately after him being fired by the Bengals, with especially how the Bengals have been doing as of late without him? Is Jim Caldwell also another name that's potentially in that same world because of what happened with Detroit? Are there other names we should think about whenever we're looking at these coaching hirings?
There's a lot of names to think about, particularly in a year like this, where not only do you have significant head coach movement already and in terms of expected openings, but also unprecedented general manager movement, which is going to, in turn, have at least some impact with the dynamics with the head coaching market, because every team that has both open are going to be trying to find a marriage between those two positions. In terms of Marvin Lewis, I mean, everything that Damian Woody tweeted there is totally accurate. I mean, yes, you look at Marvin, he was 0-9 in playoff games, I believe was the number, but he got to the playoffs all those seasons in a place where they had not won for the Bengals. They do have fewer scouts than anybody in the NFL. Their assistant coaches are at more pro days and pre-draft stuff than any other staff in the league, because who else is going to do it? They don't have a ton of scouts to be out on the road. Their facilities, they have their locker room is just in the stadium. They're not alone in that. I mean, the Patriots have the same thing, and they've done just fine with it, but it's certainly not ideal. If it rains, you don't have an indoor practice bubble. There's absolutely some unique challenges in Cincinnati.
You think rain is the problem, Tom? Rain.
They go to the University of Cincinnati gymnasium and have a walkthrough indoors.
You're in LA. Are you in LA? You've been in LA for how long?
I'm in Minneapolis.
Are you really? So you didn't even think about snow there?
Can't tell, right?
No, but Cincy, the snow, it's not the rain. If it rains, Tom, no, it's Cincinnati, Ohio, December, the football that matters. You got guys that, do I want to go out and run an extra rep today? It's 12 degrees and it's frozen. Nah, it don't. It's just
they plow the snow off the field and they go practice. I mean, it's a different place. It's a different place, and they didn't win before Marvin was there, and obviously they've had some challenges over the past couple of seasons with Zach Taylor. I mean, Marvin Lewis is really respected, not just as a tactician. I mean, you go back to his days as the D coordinator with the Ravens. He's a really smart football guy, but also the leadership he brought to that program, the fact that with the Bengals, certainly in that time period, they took a lot of, let's say, edgy personalities, the Pac-Man Joneses and the Vontez Burficts and guys like that, and they found ways to get the most out of them, but for the final couple of minutes in a playoff game against the Steelers where all hell breaks loose. I mean, for to a large degree, they were able to build that program in a way that had consistent success, which is the most difficult thing in the NFL to do, much less in Cincinnati. So I absolutely think Marvin Lewis will get calls. You remember he did last year, interviewed with the Cowboys. They ended up hiring Mike McCarthy. I'm sure that there was some, thought that was a sham interview, but the Cowboys really did want to meet with Marvin and talk with him about the job and just understand his football background. I would expect that he'll get calls this year. You're talking about former NFL coaches. Jim Caldwell would fit in that mix too. He was a guy that I was surprised did not get any calls for head coaching jobs last year. I believe the Eagles reached out to him at one point about an offensive assistant position. But I would think that he's going to get calls through this year. For other former coaches, I mean, Leslie Frazier in Buffalo, I would expect to get some calls.
Tom, before you get to the other head coaches that were previous head coaches and kind of away from football, I have to ask you directly. Are you going to go and make a documentary about these coaches working as if they are still head football coaches in the NFL, like you did for Mike McCarthy, and get somebody a job on a potential fraudulent situation happening in a basement that was maybe like a movie set? Is that what, Tom, are you going to do that for anybody, just so we know, so that we can bet on FanDuel that Tom Pelissero is going to get somebody, go to Jim Caldwell's house. I'm a big Jim Caldwell guy. If we can get you to make the documentary that Jim Caldwell has been coaching this entire time, I think he gets a job somewhere immediately, much like McCarthy to Dallas. Did you hear our entire rant the other day? You probably didn't, because you're on Amazon, NFL, Sirius, and everything like that. We got so far into a Conspiracy Wednesday. We think Mike McCarthy, Mike Nolan, and them, we think they potentially set up a set for you to walk into to shoot. Like, we think that they just drew all those things on dry erase board like the night before you got there. Like, we think that is a potential thing that happened. We're not saying definitely, but did you get any feelings that was potentially what happened in there?
No.
Okay. All right, that's good. Hey, by the way, thanks for clearing the air. Thanks for clearing the air. We're happy about that.
I would say this. I can tell you that's not the case because I visited Mike McCarthy months before we did that and talked about it, and he already was getting some of those things in place. Mike Nolan was not a part of that. It was Frank Cignetti, who's now the offensive coordinator at Boston College, Scott McCurley, who is on staff with McCarthy in Dallas, and Jim Haslett, who's on the linebackers coach in Tennessee. They were the coaches who got together and were going through that entire process and analyzing their playbooks, analyzing a ton of tape. Certainly the results are not what Mike McCarthy or the Cowboys expected in year one. I would say this in Mike's defense. I don't know how many coaches in the NFL would go on a Super Bowl run without your starting quarterback and all five of your starting offensive linemen. They've had some unique challenges when you put COVID on top of it, where you didn't have an opportunity when you're going from a two-call defense that they had been running previously to running Mike Nolan's multiple scheme. I mean, it's unacceptable when you give up almost 300 rushing yards to the Ravens. I'm not saying it's not, but there have been some aggravating factors along the way that I think you'll see some progress in 2021.
Okay, that's good to know, by the way, because we didn't say it was definitely happening. No. We were just saying that there was a chance that maybe He's a Pittsburgh guy. Maybe he bamboozled Tom Pelissero. Maybe we thought there was a chance. And by the way, whenever we watched that documentary you made, everybody was like, "Get McCarthy on our sideline right now." I mean, it was unbelievable what he got, Connor.
Yeah, Tom.
1 year ago today, I believe that posted. Too.
It was great work, by the way. I mean, it got a guy a job. I mean, it was unbelievable. Tom, go ahead, Connor.
Tom, what's going to happen with Carson Wentz? Is he going to go back to the Eagles, or are teams actually interested in bringing him in to be their quarterback?
It's a really good question, Connor, because there's a lot of complications for the Eagles with trying to trade or even release Carson Wentz at this point. You know, the contract extension that he signed less than 2 years ago, he's got $14.5 or $15.4 million in fully guaranteed base salary in 2021. There's another $10 million roster bonus in 2021, so they're over $25 million. If they were to trade him, his cap number next year would be like $35 million, which is right about what it is anyway. If they were to release him, they'd still owe him that additional fully guaranteed money and then have all that unamortized bonus proration on top of it that all would hit their cap over 2 years. So it's not impossible. I mean, if there's one thing we learned from, for instance, the Antonio Brown situation in Pittsburgh, where everybody went, there's no way you can trade him, $20 million dead money on the cap. Well, they did it. They took a 1 year hit, said we're going to take it all right now. They trade him out to the Raiders, and then they drafted 5 more receivers like they always do. Not that they've had the greatest success with the receivers the past couple of weeks, but they draft Chase Claypool.
Boom, boom, boom.
My breaking news that they've dropped a lot of passes.
No. You're just kind of rubbing it in.
Yeah,
just kind of.
Just checking. No, point being, if you were, what you'd have to make yourself believe, if you're another team looking to trade for Carson Wentz, is that you can recapture the guy in 2017 that was an MVP candidate before he tore up his knee with the Rams. You know, he had a concussion since then. He had the back injury since then. This year, there's so much stuff going on around him. I mean, let's remember the number of different offensive line combinations they've used. You lose Lane Johnson for the season. Jason Peters has been in and out of the lineup. Dillard, who was supposed to be their left tackle, got hurt. That's the only reason that Jason Peters is back. He's been out all year. Zach Ertz has missed a lot of time. Alshon Jeffrey missed a bunch of time, came back, looked like he's not running the same way. Miles Sanders missed a little bit of time. I mean, there's all this stuff. None of that is an excuse for how Carson Wentz has played, but this has been a really difficult year for them to build any kind of continuity with that group. And then, Doug Peterson is a really collaborative type of coach. He wants to make everybody feel like they're involved. Well, when you've got different, 3 or 4 different people calling plays within a single game, I talked to an offensive coordinator for a different team who knew about that situation, just said, you can't call a game like that. There's just no way, because the way that the play caller has to operate, it doesn't work when you're passing it around the way that the Eagles have been. So there's a lot of different things they're kind of throwing at a wall, just trying to see if they can spark this thing. It's a long answer to your question of what happens with Carson Wentz. Can he come back to the Eagles? It's going to depend in part what does Jalen Hurts do. It also depends in part who's calling the shots there, because I don't think that, I can tell you that Jeffrey Lurie's not happy with the way that things have been going at this point. There potentially could be some changes coming. And then you're also going to have to look at, the cost analysis of unloading Carson Wentz, who's going to cost you a ton on your cap in 2021 and maybe 2022 at a time the cap goes down, as opposed to, are there things we can do to get Carson Wentz back to that guy that we had a few years ago?
Hey, Tom, as a die-hard Pittsburgh Steelers fan, one of the biggest Steelers fans you'll ever know. All right, I saw a report that our quarterback, Big Ben Roethlisberger, might be a little banged up. Are you hearing anything out of Steelers camp? Is he going to be okay? Is he going to suit up against the Bills on Sunday?
Not listed on the injury. I don't know what that was. Not listed on the injury report.
Okay, good.
Yesterday with the knee, he had his normal Wednesday off from practice. Last week, his knee was in rough enough shape that he didn't practice the entire week. You have to say it's a good sign that the knee's not listed on the injury report this week, but certainly worth monitoring. Again, at a time that Steelers, passing game in general has not looked like they've had a lot of timing, which makes sense when you haven't been practicing at all.
Hey, Tom, that guy just became a diehard Steelers fan last week, and as soon as he became a Steelers fan, they lost. So that is he's potentially jinxing an entire city and a fan base. Last question before we let you go, and we can't thank you enough for your time. Very generous of your time today. We know you're a busy man, especially with Thursday Night Football tonight on NFL Network, Fox, and Amazon Prime. Woo! Yeah! Woo! Woo! Yeah! Woo! Woo! Russell Wilson's broken. How do they fix that? What's going on over there?
I wouldn't say Russell Wilson's broken.
He's broken. Tom, you're not allowed to say it, but we are. He's broken. He was the guy guaranteed to win the MVP this year, and then all of a sudden something happened. 10 turnovers in 3 games, and then it's a very different Russell Wilson. What's going on up there? Why do they think that's potentially happening?
Well, how many times did they run the ball in the second half last week? Like 7, I think. That's not the way they're built. They're not built to go to a drop-back passing offense, particularly when they're in close games. I mean, the let Russ cook thing got fairly out of control here. You know, Brian Schottenheimer over the course of the past year, I think, has done a good job in terms of just trying to balance some things out, create different opportunities for Russell Wilson. But they're still not a pass-first type of a football team. They tried to be that last week, got away from their identity. I think you're going to see Pete Carroll wanting to hammer the ball about 40 times on the ground this week.
All right, thank you so much. Who is that? Are we breaking news?
No caller ID. I got to go.
Wow. At Tom Pelissero, spelled at Tom Pelissero. He'll probably be breaking news here in the next couple seconds. I just got to... It wasn't 2 hours before kickoff, says Dez. He quoted our... okay, so Dez Bryant has answered Tom Pelissero. So, by the way, Tom Pelissero might have been getting a call from Dez Bryant right there. So remember what Tom Pelissero told us. Tom Pelissero said that they get the responses back from their PCR test because they're closer to the Jersey lab that a lot of people are using. So normally the test the day of the game in the morning wouldn't come until the night or the next morning for some teams because they're far away. But since Baltimore is so close to the Jersey lab, they got the response back. Then he went on to say that if it comes back as inconclusive, they would do a POC, which is a point of care test, and another PCR test. If the point of care test, which is a 20-minute response time, which is by all accounts a 90 to 95% accuracy, which is lower than the PCR that's supposed to be 98 or 99% accurate on whether or not you have COVID. If the point of care test that they gave to him after learning of the inconclusive morning PCR test, that came back as positive, I believe, and the other PCR, the rerun of the morning test also came back inconclusive, is what Tom Pelissero said, right? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like he got pulled out of warmups, just randomly picked, given a test. He failed it. He now is kicked out of the game. This was an entire series of events that led to this, says Tom Pelissero. Dez Bryant responds and says, it wasn't 2 hours before kickoff. If it was 2 hours before kickoff, I shouldn't have been able to walk in the stadium. We have to be there 2 hours before the kickoff, Tom. Ooh.
Does make sense.
Does make sense, because that is the cutoff time for most teams, is you have to be there 2 hours before the game. Guys come earlier, but that's normally like the cutoff for everybody. So who knows how this whole thing played out. I would assume the series that Tom laid out was probably near accurate, and I would assume that just the timing is a bit different, because Dez talking to other guys on the field, you start doing the hours of when he would have been already at the facility and on the field beforehand, warm-up wise. I don't know, it's interesting. You can see why Dez would be pissed off, though. Not happy about it.
No.
Not happy about it.
Rightfully so.
He just quit. I mean, if he's not busy, he should come on and clear everything up with us if he really wants to get the word out there on his experience.
And by the way, did he quit? What's going on?
He basically said he did it on Twitter.
I saw Ryan Clark say, you earn these reps. And it's real. Like, hey, Dez, you worked your ass off to get back here now, right? And I think that's something I think a lot of people, probably friends of his, would be like, don't quit. Now, granted, when I saw that he said he quit, I retweeted it because that was an incredible tweet. That was I knew that tweet was going to go massive or whatever. And then he says, yes, I'm coming back. I'm being smart. Okay, good. All right. It was just, in the middle of the moment. And I would assume as that tweet was going, he was like, I'm not going to quit. He probably had to tell people, by the way.
Yeah.
But the tweet was going so big, he was like, I'm also not. I mean, this thing's already at 10,000 retweets. This thing is going to go. That was just a good tweet.
He just had some wine, calmed down a little bit.
He's a wine guy?
Well, that's what he tweeted, I believe, later in the night, was that he was going to have some wine. And
White, red wine? What do you think it was?
I think he used the red emoji.
He did.
How come everybody gets into the wine? It feels like a lot of people get into the wine. I was just assume it's like the sophisticated blackout where they're like, we're sophisticated here. We're drinking out of these weird glasses as opposed to the bottles and bags used to drink out. You know what I mean? It's an interesting thing. I've never really got into wine, but there's people that love it.
Oh yeah.
The antioxidants in it. Yeah.
I had a big glass of wine last night.
Really? Red? Red?
Yeah,
White?
red.
And do you do the thing to check the legs and all that?
Oh, yeah.
No, not really. And I also forgot that this wine glass was like basically 65 ounces. It kind of got carried away a little bit, to be honest.
So you drank a bottle last night?
Yeah, they are big.
Yeah.
Those
That's
wine glasses.
because they're supposed to be, so you can do all the shit.
Not bad, though.
get the aromatics out of there.
No hangover? I thought wine gives hangovers, doesn't it?
Depends.
Depends on.
That's that bagged wine I was
Early night, no hangover.
That's
Franzia.
right. Early
Smack
night.
it. We got to get to a break here. Hour 2 is wrapping up. You know, I'm not a big wine guy, but I am a big Arby's guy.
Hell yeah.
I would assume wine people aren't big Arby's people. I bet you they are.
Yeah,
probably.
You know why? Because Arby's has something for literally everybody.
True.
And I think that is kind of the narrative that was painted about it. That was actually a bunch of bullshit.
Absolutely.
You're talking about 10 different kinds of meats, 25 different types of sandwiches, a depth to a menu that no fast food has. Incredible jalapeno poppers, curly fries with some cheese on the side, even some desserts. I mean, Arby's has it no matter what you're looking for. Right now, it can be delivered to your house via DoorDash. And with orders over $15, they can be delivered for free with promo code MEATS. Hour 2 is wrapping up. You have 6 minutes. Go take a shit. We are moments before going out onto the field and kicking some field goals to raise a crap ton of money for the kids. And I'm about to become an old man. Said I do this, then I do this, then I do this. Oh, Cuzzy. Oh my God. You want a little bit of that, Grandpa? Hey, you see, you go, and then, I'm just so excited we can raise some money, because that's what we're here for. What's going on? Hey, hey, hey. It is hard to see down. Cool, Grandpa. There's no way I lived this long in real life.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our contestant and cheer him on as he attempts to raise $70,000 for cancer research. On your mark, get set, go!
I've been a fan of the Colts since the Mayflower came from Baltimore.
I don't know, sir. You sound a little familiar.
This is the greatest city on earth. And ladies and gentlemen, it was my honor to raise $70,000 for cancer research. Sorry, I missed a couple. I'm an old man. Let's go. Let's
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Pat McAfee and $70,000 towards cancer research. Go Colts!
And the ball's leaning back. Couldn't see. It's a lot more difficult seeing. Hi! Old man's got a hammer. Okay. Okay.
Oh my God! Best sign spinner in the world! At least now he says, that was unbelievable. Bro, thank you for what you just did right there. What's your name?
Mike.
Mike, where you from?
Right here in Los Angeles.
That was fucking awesome to watch. Good luck out there. They should be paying him more.
Tune in for the World Sign Spinning Championship in Vegas.
There's a World Sign Spinning Championship?
In Vegas.
Are you like a national, are you a champion?
I rank.
You rank? What do you rank?
I got 8th in the 2013 is what I'm saying.
What do we have to do to get better? How do we get to first place? What's the new move? What's the new move? Maybe light it on fire.
Well, Cleveland's proof I have is this one.
Oh! At least now! Oh my God! If I was getting to the end with the kickflip, I don't know how you're 8th in the world. You should be number 1. And if I was leasing a place, I'm fucking coming here. Oh my.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There will be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here, Thursday, December 10th, 2020. It's almost 2021. That's means for celebration. And also, AJ Hawk is joining us for this hour. Joining us now, AJ Hawk. AJ, how's it going? Oh my God.
Wow.
Wow.
Silver bullet.
You look so cool right now. You look awesome, dude. He's got Coors Light pullover with a Nike collab. It's a 3/4 zip. It looks like custom. It is unbelievable, AJ. Where'd you get? Were you a professional golfer? How did you get this thing?
I have no idea. Have I not worn this before? I had no.
You've never worn that. I mean, that thing's unbelievable, dude.
Man, this makes for great audio. I'm serious.
Doesn't fucking matter. They need to know. They should see it.
Yeah.
They should see it. The conversation with Demarcus Ware earlier. Okay, and I don't know if you got a chance to hear it. He told a story about Philip. We were literally laughing as the show was coming live. We were re-talking about this story because it's getting a lot of credit on the internet, but I think in the moment I had a lot of respect for it. But the more and more I think about it, it is such a cerebral way to talk shit to somebody that Phillip Rivers, instead of letting Demarcus Ware ever get a sack on him, he would just take an intentional grounding. Would just hey, I'm going to probably get sacked here anyways. It's going to be a loss of down, and I won't even let you have the satisfaction of it. Demarcus Ware said that Phil Rivers would tell him that. Now, I don't know how many times that actually happened, but just the thought of Phil Rivers telling Demarcus Ware that is just next level shit talking. I love it so much from Phil Rivers.
I think it's awesome because not only to even think about doing that is awesome, but then to say it to a guy like Demarcus. Think about that's got to be in the back of your head if it happens once or twice and then you continue to play. I'm like, man, am I ever gonna get a sack on this dude? Every time I get near him, he just throws the thing in the ground or throws it out of bounds. He doesn't care. He's just really not gonna let me have it. How long did it take him to get it?
12 years. And by the way, Phil Rivers didn't let him tackle him. Phil Rivers saw him coming and just laid down, and Demarcus Ware just touched him or whatever. You know what I mean? So it was like Phil Rivers went down fighting until the very 12-year war against Demarcus Ware and didn't let him get it. I mean, that was just, it was classic. Another incredible cerebral shit talker is the Ohio State head coach, Ryan Day. This announcement, him thanking the Big Ten for changing the rules that the Big Ten never had to put in. Everybody said they were dumb whenever they were doing a lot of things that they were doing, but they're smarter than everybody. We knew it was inevitable that if something was to happen to Ohio State, the Big Ten would have to change their rules because there would probably be no representative in the college football playoff, which makes a shit ton of money for everybody in the Big Ten and also a lot of exposure for the Big Ten. So we knew this was inevitable if it was Ohio State that it happened to. It happened to Ohio State. The inevitability happened. Now the people that were supposed to make decisions, now have gone back on like 3 of their decisions now, and they just don't ever learn. But Ryan Day had to answer for this, And he goes, on behalf of Ohio State University, by the way, missed the there. I think a lot of that. Whoa, is Ryan Day really from Ohio State? Now we got to start questioning. On behalf of the Ohio State University, the players, all those associated with the football program, and our fans, I am appreciative of our Big Ten Conference colleagues for reconsidering this 6-game requirements qualify for the Big Ten championship game. A lot of changes have happened since that recommendation was put into place. I know making this decision was not an easy one, and I am thankful for the opportunity our players will now have to play in Indianapolis as an undefeated East Division champion. So Ryan Day typed this entire thing up. You see him at his office, or maybe he's on his phone typing it up, and he's like, "Yeah, but I gotta let him know a little bit, like." Yeah, we'll end this thing as you're undefeated. Just want to let you know, everybody's mad at Indiana, by the way, and we're big Indiana fans. Tom Allen, good guy. The word of the year is relentless and everything like that. But they could have beat Ohio State just a couple weeks ago. Great game. They did not beat Ohio State. And there's a lot of chirping from there. And then there's other teams that are chirping and everything like that. And Ryan Day's like, there's a lot of talk here about the COVID and everything. Let's remember one motherfucking thing here right at the end. Undefeated East Division champion. I love it from Ryan Day. I like how Ohio State is operating with this whole thing. But it's all inevitable that we knew this was going to happen.
Well, first off, he says he knew it was a tough decision to make. Well, nope, it was not. It was tough for them because they don't want to go. They feel obviously their egos have gotten in the way of many decisions, so they feel like, I don't want to have to go back on my word, even though we all know it's probably the right thing to do. But yeah, this kind of checks all boxes for Ryan Day. Thanks him, lets him know, hey, I'm appreciative of where we are, but don't forget, we're here because of what we do, and all we do is win games.
Yeah, this wasn't handed to us, okay?
Earned, not given.
We've kind of won this. I don't know if you guys have been looking at this, even back whenever it was the Legends and Leaders division, okay, which was another terrible decision by somebody before. Even going back to then, we kind of run shit around here, okay? So everybody's acting like we don't deserve it. Let's just take a fucking break for 1 second. Is what that last sentence said without saying it, and I love it. Tough for the Iowa Hawkeyes, though. The Iowa Hawkeyes just kind of get booted out of any conversation.
No, listen. I'm a Big Ten guy through and through. So as long as Ohio State's getting a chance, I was on the other side anyway. I'm just saying more people. People want to watch Iowa v. Ohio State. They don't want to watch Ohio State v. Northwestern. That's all I'm saying.
That's all you're saying. There's nothing like that. Another college football news: LSU, in a very noble fashion, has imposed a 1-year postseason ban on themselves. They're currently sitting at 3-5, have 1 game left, so they would not be eligible for a bowl game, which would not be a postseason game. So them banning themselves was very noble of them. I would assume that this is to get ahead of something that the NCAA is probably going to come down and crack down on them, but the NCAA has a lot bigger fish to fry, like how they're going to profit off of themselves without fans in the stands for things, and they got Coach K saying the college of basketball is probably not going to happen or shouldn't happen. There's a lot the NCAA's got to figure out. So LSU, I think, try to slip in the back door here. Oh, yeah, by the way, we've punished ourselves, and just kind of hopefully they'll check the box and then say, okay, we don't have to punish LSU for whatever they're doing, paying players or, that led to national championships or whatever they were doing, because they've banned themselves from something they were not eligible for, which is, you don't fire me, I quit. I'm not coming to your party. You didn't not invite me. I'm not coming. Like, it's one of those situations, which I respect a lot out of old Coach O. And to be honest, go Tigers now that I'm thinking about the whole thing, AJ.
This is like the equivalent of Coach K trying to shut down the whole season, isn't it? Okay, my team's not any good. Let's just call it a day. I guess what are they getting ahead of, though? How serious do you think these infractions are?
Well, it depends on what state of mind the NCAA is in. Just a couple years ago, you got to remember tattoos at your place. That took the championship away. Like tattoos did. I know some people that have gotten tattoos in kitchens for like $5-10. So, I mean, there's a lot of shit that could potentially pop off. The NCAA, I think, is known for being egregious in their actions for things that don't warrant it, you know? And I think maybe back in the day, whenever they would punish people for certain things, the world was like, yeah. But now as we learn more and more about the amount of money that's being made by everybody except for the people that are potentially in there, and you start thinking about how these are 18, 19-year-old guys and ladies from potentially bad neighborhoods, and their families don't even really have enough to do a lot of things, and you hear that they get like $1,000 from somebody or something, and it goes to something, instead of just, you know, ruining that entire person or professional life and just saying, yeah, we're kicking you out of school forever, which you know, is really good for the student human athlete. I think the tide is kind of turned now with the more information about shit that's happening in the world. So maybe the NCAA will, you know, back it off a little bit, but that has not been their resume. That has not been what the NCAA is known for. They come in, they see something, and I'll tell you what, they are swinging the fucking hammer down because they can't have that happen to any student human athletes.
What a perfect, like, just such perfect timing for LSU to lay an egg and just not have a great team. Like, it all comes together for a reason. We know Coach O, there's all kind of weird things floating around. And what, they're 3-5, is that right?
Mm-hmm. What was that? Whoa. What are you saying about Coach O?
No, I didn't say. I know his personal life. I think he's in the middle of a divorce, all kind of situations.
Oh, wow,
We're talking about football, dude.
I'm trying to help talk about the whole situation going on at LSU, how it can go from so high to so low, like the roller coaster. Football can be. Pat, think about it. Last year, LSU, Joe Burrow, Coach O, like there was nobody more popular on the planet. There still is. Like Coach O is still very popular. People love him. Highest of highs, and then hey, man, you got to ride out the bumps and try to get back on top.
Remember, somebody was almost arrested because they were celebrating too much when Odell Beckham Jr. slapped that sheriff's ass. That's how happy the world was. They were slapping cops' asses.
Yeah.
I mean, it was full celebration, and they were singing Baton Rouge and that entire – I mean, Foxy, we were down there for the national championship. That entire Mercedes-Benz Dome or Superdome is singing what's the song called?
Calling Baton
Rouge. It was wild down there. And then here we are, self-imposed. Hey, listen, we'll go to timeout, dude. We'll go to timeout. Don't you worry about us. You don't even fucking focus on us, okay? You got the battle in the bubble to deal with. I don't even know if are they still paying rent down here?
Who knows?
Are they even allowed to be open? I mean, the NCAA, they got other fish to fry. And Coach K is trying to take care of some of the things, like just cancel the basketball season. We don't even have to worry about that. Just go ahead and fucking cancel that thing. And Coach O's like, don't worry about us in the playoffs. Don't even worry about trying to fix rules for us to get down there in the playoffs. We'll fucking ban ourselves. Good for Coach O, man. Good for Coach O. What a move, by the way. That's like classic old Swin. That's the guy you played cards against. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, you can keep the ante or whatever. The guy just lost like 1,000. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Do what you got to do, man. Trying to hustle the NCAA publicly is awesome. I respect it. Now the NCAA is going to have to dig their, feet in and be like, they're going to have to stick up for it. Wild time to be alive. College basketball was last night. That Pitt game, I watched the end of it. I don't know if anybody else saw it. Dunk to win it.
Ooh.
Dunk to win it. They were down. Pitt was down like 5, I think, and then they were down 4, or they were down 1 somehow within the last 16 seconds, and then a dish into paint, dunk to win it almost 4 seconds left somehow. Bad defense by Northwestern. They shit all over themselves at the end. I mean, it was just. You watch college basketball at all?
I've watched 0 so far this year.
It just started, I think, yesterday. Didn't it?
No, last week.
Yeah. FSU beat Indiana in overtime last night. Very good game as well.
Really? Indiana had a good team, don't they?
Yeah, they got one very good player. I think his name's Jackson. He is very good.
Oh, he's a center, right? He's down underneath.
Yeah.
Big Ten is this year.
He's got the Patrick Mahomes haircut, that kid.
Big Ten is dog walking everybody right now.
Hey, that's what Big Ten basketball is, baby.
That's right.
Yeah, no. I know the Iowa guy's killing it, right?
Yeah, Garza, monster, absolute monster. Iowa has a legitimate shot to win it all this year.
Well, the thing about it is the game shouldn't be played.
Mm-hmm.
Coach K said it.
Who knows?
Like I said, Coach K, why don't you play 12 more games and then fucking pipe your ass down? Because they'll be in the dance. They're not going to win it, but they'll be there.
Let's go to Ryan in Pensacola. What's going on, Ryan?
Hey, how the boys doing?
Hey, not too shabby, Ryan. How are you, bub?
Oh, just down here in Florida, partying, breathing on everybody.
That is Florida, by the way. Yeah. That is Florida. We were down there. It is very free down there. It is wide open down there.
I wanted to run something by you and Ty. As a part owner of the Packers, I think we should help Big Mike out down there, send Jordan Love down to Dallas in exchange for maybe Gallup and a mid-round pick.
Yeah, hey, not a bad play right there, huh? Give you a quarterback, first-round quarterback, okay? You don't have to pay Dak. You know what I mean? You guys got a little problematic with salary cap coming down. Give you Jordan Love, same scouting department that was here whenever we had success, still here. You know what I mean? You trust us. Here you go. And give us Mike Gallup and a draft pick. That seems like a very fair trade Jerry Jones to make happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I mean, in a perfect world, yeah, maybe. Okay.
Hey, why not CeeDee Lamb maybe? Why not trade Jordan Love for CeeDee Lamb? You know what I mean? It's a
good idea.
That is a good idea.
Both first-round picks.
Yeah, you would keep footage of practice off the internet as much as possible if you're trying to do that. You know what I mean? Because
that one though bounced off the bottom, off the rebar. He caught it and then fucking put it in again. So who knows? You know.
Let's go to Dylan in Illinois. What's going on, Dylan?
Hey, what's up? Shout out to you and the boys. Thanks for taking the call.
Hey,
so I've heard you mention a few times about how the coffin corner is just sort of a dead technique in the world of punting. Do you have any clue why that is? Because as just a casual fan, it seems like it would be pretty effective, and it was for years. Just curious why that died.
Okay, great question, Dylan. So earlier in the show, we had a guy named Demarcus Ware on, and Demarcus Ware, what is he, probably 6'5", 6'6", 265, 270 pounds?
Mm-hmm.
Probably runs a 4'6", probably 4'7".
Yeah,
That's probably what Demarcus Ware does.
Yeah.
So back in the day, whenever coffin corner punts were happening, they were playing against Connor at outside linebacker. Zito was at outside linebacker. AJ, unbelievable defensive lineman back in the day whenever that was happening. So punters could just step right outside the pocket, and there wasn't a fear that the ball would get blocked. And then percentages came out that if you block a punt, basically you win 80% of the time or whatever if you block a punt. And, so stats started playing that thing. So the team started taking advantage of special teams. So back in the day, you only used to have one good returner, Devin Hester, two good returners, Josh Cribbs maybe comes in there. Now every team has an electrifying returner basically because teams have started to take advantage of special teams. They started taking advantage of field positions. They started taking advantage of the little things. And the little things are a punter has to stay in his pocket, because if not, maybe not Demarcus Ware, which I would assume he has rushed a punt and he might have a block punt in his career, but they have guys now that run 4.4s and 4.5s who are 6'5", and their only job is to run up and unders and block punts. So the reason why coffin corners in my eyes have changed is because there's an alternate, which is the Aussie rules football style punt that you see everybody do, where you can swing. It has good backspin. You can hit it hard. You're looking for a fair catch, and you might get a friendly bounce, but you're also getting the ball off much quicker without even having to step out of the pocket because you don't want to have a blocked punt in the middle of the field, because if you do that, you go from pinning the team and setting your defense up with a lot of success to potentially giving points to the other team immediately upon it happening. So I think that's why the coffin corner disappeared, is because of a lot of those things, and the alternative being a much easier ball to hit on a much regular basis with next to no block issues because of how quick you actually get it off. It kind of wiped that thing out of there. But a lot of respect back in the day to the coffin corner punters, that they had to be real precise back then to do that type of stuff.
Hey, I got a question about punters in college. Are we going to see, or are we already seeing punters struggle in the NFL? That it seems like there's so many that do that stupid rugby thing where they run sideways and then just blast a liner.
Yeah, it's a very different style. The college style of punting with the rugby, which is what I did, by the way. That's why whenever I say I got drafted to punt and I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing, it's because I did in college, I did the run punt, and then the NFL, you do the 2 steps. And in college, everybody can leave the line of scrimmage before the ball is kicked. In the NFL, only 2 people can. It's the gunners. So everybody has to pass set. So you have to hit a ball higher because you have to give people more time to run down the field. In college, you can just line drive balls and just bomb them because everybody's able to cover. And also, more often than not, you're not playing against that talented of a person back there. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that are different. And that's why you see a lot of punters potentially just wash out. You know what I mean? It's kind of wash out. Could have been me, by the way. Probably should have been me. I don't know how it didn't happen. Let's go to Jordan in New Hampshire. What's going on, Jordan?
Hey, what's up, Pat?
What's going on, Jordan?
Nothing. I just want to talk about Dak Prescott. There's been a lot of talk today about him maybe wanting out of Dallas next year, and I think he should because he's in a pretty unique opportunity. Sorry, what was that?
Okay, Jordan, thank you. But has Dak said that, or has that just been us talking about him potentially not going there? Or has that been other people saying that? Gumpy, what has been going on?
No, it's just a rumor going around right now. He hasn't come out and said anything about it.
Well, if there's a rumor, somebody started it. If you're Dak, you could see how you potentially want to see what's going on elsewhere. I mean, you could see, because look at how important you are to the Cowboys. You're in a good leverage standpoint, but they can franchise tag him again, can't they?
Yes, they can.
Yeah. They're not going anywhere.
But don't you think now Dak knows absolutely. Like, hey, my value, I see my value here, definitely in Dallas. Maybe, well, yeah, I guess if they can tie him into the franchise tag, can they? Is there still a window where they can open up to work out a long-term extension before the start of next season?
Yeah, because the franchise tag thing isn't until the end. He can't start until March. But then there's a date after the franchise tag is given, like a month, where it becomes a dead period until the next offseason or next free agency or whatever. And I think last year, remember, through a lot of those negotiation periods, they were saying nothing was happening. And they're like, nothing's happening. And then you hear all these business people, they're like, if you ever travel somewhere to do business with somebody, they won't start negotiations with you until like 30 minutes before you have to leave for your flight, because there has to be a little bit of a sense of urgency to get the deal. Yeah, there has to be a deadline.
Things don't happen until there's a deadline.
Yeah, there has to be urgency to get a deal done. So everybody was like, well, Dallas and Dak, they're not talking until there's a deadline. And then it got like a week to the deadline, and all the insiders were like, it's going to start heating up here. And then we heard like the 4-year, 5-year thing. We heard one number floated out, but it was never confirmed. And then it got to 3 days, and they're like, still think a deal's going to get done 2 days. And then that thing just kind of came and went, and they were like, okay, Dak's going to have to prove himself again, and it just kind of kept it moving. So I assume he's going to get franchise tagged again just to see what they can do with him. But that sucks for Dak, because I think watching the Cowboys this year, you're like, oh, Dak's probably worth a few $100 million.
Can you see Dak being as good as he was this year without Mike McCarthy, though?
Good question. That's a great question. That is a great question, by the way, Gumpy. Mike McCarthy, Tom Pelissero said that he did not set up that entire thing, but it feels like Mike potentially lied to everybody, AJ. Is he doing anything down there? Is he doing anything down there? What's he doing? Is he calling plays? No.
Just deleting Texas Roadhouse burgers.
Oh, yeah, come on.
Back in the day, you used to be able to put the peanut shells on the floor, too.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Lombardi's just crunching those up and throwing them down.
Yeah. Anymore? You can't do that anymore?
Yeah, somebody slipped, fell, sued, and then it kind of all stopped or whatever.
Peanut allergy, too.
But I remember that was one of the selling points whenever it got started.
They don't care.
Lone Star Steakhouse, I think that was one, and then Texas Roadhouse. Both of them. You know what you can do down here, and this is real Texas of us? You can eat your peanuts and then just throw that shit on the floor.
Chuck them.
Oh, yeah.
And then somebody came in, got rich off of it.
It's the only reason I went to that place. Either of those.
Me too. By the way, happened with coffee, too, at McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody got real rich off the coffee because it was hot.
Too hot.
Hey, news break, by the way. Fucking the coffee is hot.
Burned her hoo-ha.
What?
That's what happened.
What was that?
The old lady burned her hoo-ha.
Excuse me?
Hoo-ha. Other word for vagina.
Yeah. Thank you. We got to get to a break. This show stinks. This show absolutely stinks.
It was bad.
They had to put, I mean, you see how many cautions are on it now.
Yeah, the evidence photos were
long-term.
The evidence photos were bad. Yeah, they had to take pictures of her hoo-ha.
What are we doing?
What do you mean?
You knew this? You knew this whole thing? I didn't know this was the case.
It's a court.
Cashed
out.
out.
Public files.
There's a documentary on it.
Yeah, it's gross.
Wow, the documentary I know from McDonald's is the one that they were rigging the goddamn Monopoly.
McMillions.
Yeah. McMillions. That one was wild. It was coming from a little trailer park almost down there. They were controlling just like $10 million.
Uncle Jim? No.
Uncle Jerry.
Uncle Jerry.
He was he moved.
He did.
He moved in shape. Yeah.
The needle as well.
Oh, yeah.
What killed him was no seatbelt.
By the way, everything's fake. Foxy. Everything is fake.
It's all work.
Can't trust anything.
Can't.
Postseason ban by LSU? That's real.
Oh, yeah.
That was real. What a fucking... Who okayed that? LSU PR is like, yeah.
Genius.
This is good.
I bet they hired... I guarantee you they hired like an outside PR firm.
Nah, I fucking can't do it.
Getting ahead of me.
We got to go to a break. I'm tired with these outside consultants. I'm fucking done with them. I can't do them anymore. On the other side, we'll take some phone calls. 1-888-623-3646.
Well done.
Can't wait to chat with you on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Thursday, December 10th, T9, 2020.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just checking your availability. If you're in Indianapolis now, did you get to Buffalo?
Yeah, I got a plane that's supposed to take me down to game day anyway, so I could definitely have it go to Buffalo first. How long is the flight from Indy to Buffalo? You can find us a plane for like 4 o'clock. I think that'll be perfect.
The best we can do is depart around 5:30.
Okay, do we have any other, can you find any other planes that can get us out of here earlier than that? I was just asked if I could appear in Buffalo within the next 4 hours to basically do the show on Fox tonight.
Okay, I'll call you back.
You know what I'm asking for?
Yeah.
All right, so he's gonna call Jim Irsay and see if I can just use Jim's jet. He's calling me back shortly, but just start packing. Hey. You're the absolute best. Does this sound like a potential yes, you're saying? He's the fucking best. I would be so thankful. Hey, this is really cool. I don't know how many billionaires would do this for people that have worked for them in the past. This is awesome, and I can't thank you guys enough. Can I take a kendo stick to his back?
We'll talk about it when you get here.
All right, I appreciate you, man. Hey, let's break the fucking internet tonight. What a hilarious life. We are live on Fox in 6 hours and 35 minutes. 3 hours of sleep, no clue what the storylines are. Just fucking let the nuts swing, bro. Let's just go out there and have a good time. Plane company. I know. Here we go, boys. All right, we'll talk SmackDown tonight. This is gonna be a night we're gonna look back on and remember. And then we're gonna hop on a plane and head to Memphis for College Game Day. I think this is a joke too. I just want to let you know, like, this is a Truman Show. I very much understand that this is not supposed to happen. I got the text at 1:42 p.m. today from Mr. H that says, "Have you heard there have been some travel issues? Can you make your way to Buffalo?" Jim Irsay, owner of the Colts, literally lent me his plane. Might be the most confident I've ever tweeted on it. I didn't know we were that good of friends, to be honest. I was throwing a Hail Mary, and he responded and said, yeah. So I got here about an hour and a half before the show, and to work with Renee, Tom, and be on SmackDown with a bucket of makeup on my face. This has been a dream come true bucket list type situation here in beautiful Buffalo, New York. Come on, boys, we're going to be on cable.
Here by Pat McAfee, replacing our guest commentator Aiden English.
No sleeves in, George. Good to see you.
It feels good here in Buffalo. I got a text from the game, a cerebral WWE official. He said, hey, you might have heard about the travel issues. Can you make it to Buffalo? I said, absolutely. What a magical evening it is, November 1st, 2019. I mean, let's be honest. The Marine was a heater. You know what I mean? He's a great actor. He was great on The Real World. He was great on all of that.
That's how they do it in NXT, baby. Almost took me out holding another grown lady in the air.
November 1st, 2019, greatest SmackDown in the history of SmackDown.
Pat, you joining us? It might absolutely be correct the way things have gone here tonight.
SmackDown in the history of SmackDowns, November 1st, 2019. It's documented. I had a good time out there, man. I had no idea what was happening, so it was really just natural reaction to everything. It was awesome, dude. That's a real bucket list thing. Game day bucket list, this is like complete bucket list. 2 in 1 week. Oh yeah. Put a horseshoe shoved up my ass and a horseshoe owner lending us a plane. McAfee Show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. The thing just quit. Thing just quit on the computer there. It's all right. Our voices have sound like robots all goddamn day on the radio. Computer just gave out. Text happening. We learned a lot about McDonald's and their coffee.
Oh, yeah.
AJ, Rams, Patriots tonight. Patriots travel. Well, nope. The Patriots have been in Los Angeles since last week when they beat the hell out of the Chargers. Here we go. Thursday night football, primetime football. Sean McVay, the whiz kid, the offensive guru that got 15 people hired around the NFL because they knew him, takes on Bill Belichick. The last time Sean McVay and Bill Belichick played against each other, Sean McVay had a post-game press conference where he laid out basically everything that happened in the game. Was very complimentary towards Bill Belichick, but I think he probably has thought about this for a long time.
Yeah, I'd say so. And
well, we got it, AJ. We got the clip.
First of all, just congratulations to the Patriots. They did a great job. Coach Belichick did an outstanding job. There's really no other way to put it. I'm pretty numb right now, but definitely I got outcoached, and I didn't do nearly good enough for a football team. Hey, great job, man. I respect you. Appreciate that, Kyle. Yeah, respect you, man.
So we kept Kyle Van Noy in there, obviously going and interrupting his conference and telling me he appreciates him, which I believe is probably like a funny move in Kyle Van Noy's head, but also wanted to pay his respects or whatever. But Sean McVay's probably thought about that, I assume, AJ, for a long, long time. There's probably the enigma of Bill Belichick tonight. Like, I'm a little bit worried, the mystique. I'll be excited to see how this game plays out. I like the Rams. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I like the Rams. I definitely like the Rams to cover if it's only 4.5. And going back to Kyle Van Noy right there, Kyle's smart too. Like I'm sure he does have a lot of respect for McVay, but he knew he was become a free agent soon too. After that, hey man, the more he can do, the more people I know, the more irons I got in the fire, the better chance I have of getting a big old deal.
He did make a lot of money with the Miami Dolphins, and that was well deserved. He is a great player. He's a good dude too. Good interview as well.
Yep.
I like the Rams a lot tonight. I just do. For the main reason is because I don't think the Patriots can get to Jared Goff, and we all agree that if you can't get Jared Goff, he's going to slice the dice.
The big thing for me too is like if they can run the ball and waste a lot of clock and keep Goff off the field so he can't get into a rhythm, then it's going to be a big difference. But we're going to know in the first quarter. Like if we can't run the ball, the game's over because we know Cam's not going to sling the rock, and if he does, we're not going to win.
This does feel like it's a live bet situation. Like you live bet this game. Like I don't think we know really what's going to happen. And that, by the way, whenever the Rams are playing, that is very much a thing. You don't know what Rams team you're going to get. They can be great, and they can be sometimes, problematic on the offense side of the ball where they can't move, or they just can't move at all. What's your face for?
I cracked my knuckles out. I didn't know if the mic caught it or not.
I think his face looked like a kid.
As soon as I did it, you immediately looked up at me, and I was like, oh, shit.
No, I didn't even know that. I thought you just saw something on your computer that was a telling stat that we needed to hear.
Patriots have won 10 of their last 11 on Thursdays.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
Covered 4 straight as a dog. 4-1 as a dog with Cam Newton. Rams are 2-5 their last 7 on Thursday.
All right, Gump. Gump, you're the man. You know that. You really are. But for all of those, was Tom Brady on the team for all of those interactions?
No, that was just with Cam this year.
No, the Thursday night. The
Thursday night, yeah. But their last 4 with Cam as a dog, they're 4-0.
I mean, that's great. That's what you're here for, Gump. I appreciate it. I don't think they're going to win tonight. We know for them to win, though, Pat, you know more than anybody. Like, they need Olszewski to return another punt for a touchdown.
Whoa.
They probably need to block a punt. Like, that's how Bill's been scraping these victories out. Like, this has been an amazing job by this team to win. But they just have to do so many things, like, out of the ordinary to win the game, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. This feels like a Rams, maybe alternate spread game.
Oh, you don't believe that. That's not true.
Let's go to Josh in San Diego. What's going on, Josh?
Big Oos, what's going on?
Hey, Oos, what's going on, man? What do you want to talk about, brother?
Hey, this one's for AJ.
Here we go.
I watch you guys every day. Thank you guys for all the positivity during this COVID fucked up time. But
nailed it.
Thanks, AJ. So obviously you had All-Star on and you had LeGarrette Blount on. Okay, AJ, Oklahoma drill. Who the fuck you going against?
That's a hilarious question because AJ has said before that he hates Oklahoma drills, but if somebody has to get hurt, everybody needs to die then in the Oklahoma drill. That's your mindset. Who would you rather, LeGarrette Blount or Mike Allstott?
No, well, first off, I just said I didn't want to die, so therefore you have to try to kill other people so you don't die.
Okay, sorry, I got it wrong. You're right.
Back
You're right.
against the wall.
You're right. And kids shouldn't take that mindset, especially if their coach is slapping them around in the middle of practices.
It's not a literal thing. I know it's not war. It's just a football game and football drill, by the way. LeGarrette Blount, Allstott, I'll probably fake an injury or fake a really bad illness that day.
Smart.
If COVID's around, you might have to say you got symptoms.
Yeah, that's smart, by the way. And they quarantine you. You wouldn't be asked because you were gone for 10 days, and they can't just throw you into the ring of the fire there whenever you're gone for 10 days.
Put a mask on, AJ.
I bet you Mike Allstott loved Oklahoma drills. My God. Training camp, everybody sees the schedule. It's like, all right, you got 2 days this day, and you go through the periods. And he sees like Oklahoma drills, like maybe the 3rd period. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, fucking today's gonna be a good day. A-Train. And then tonight the A-Train's back for the Oklahoma drill. Man, what a time to be alive.
One-way ticket.
I'm happy I didn't have to be in those. I'm happy. That was really nice of me.
Watching them must have been a great time. You get any good?
It was
any good pops?
There was always a fight. I mean, there was always at some point there was always going to be a fight.
Coaches are jumping in fighting usually too.
Yeah, coaches are pulling people, and it's just and then if I mean, let alone if a defensive player just absolutely murders somebody, the entire defense is jumping on top of the whole situation there. I mean, the defense can celebrate really hard in those situations, and they do. And it's potentially to buy some time, maybe to rest some other people, maybe to rest up a little bit, maybe get rid of some reps, if we celebrate hard enough here. Smart. And also, we have to flex and dance as much as possible. But then the coaches realize what's going on, and they start motherfucking. It's always, it's almost like how I feel about baseball.
Ooh.
What goes on around the Oklahoma drill is what I'm into. Now, granted, the Oklahoma drill itself, there's participants who have to worry about their life. I was not in there, so but what's going on around with the celebrating, the anger, who's matching up with who's calling each other out potentially after a win, who's celebrating in whose face, what coaches are fighting. I mean, the Oklahoma drill is just like an institution of chaos almost, and it is a fun thing to watch for sure. It is a fun thing to watch for sure.
That's a great point. Like, what surrounds it is what's probably more entertaining, and the little dynamic too between the players over celebrating. The main reason you over celebrate is to try to cut into practice time, so they have to cut some reps out of possibly a goal line period later, or an inside run period, or 2 minute has to be shortened. Like, that's why players will try to prolong things as long as they possibly can.
Hey, get the fuck off! Oh, it is awesome. We got 5 more reps. This isn't happening every fucking time. Oh, man, it was great. We'll see. We'll see.
The smart teams, what they'll do, they'll try to start chanting their coach's name, or if their coach has a little bit of an ego, try to get him going, get him dancing, or maybe slide on a wet ball, do something to buy some more time.
Oh, yeah. I was really good at that during the cardio sessions. I got questions. What drill are we running? I don't think we've ever done this before, have we? Hey, wait, so I'm going all the way? Yes. Fuck. All right. Let's go to Matt in State Jefferson. What is that?
What the hell's that?
California.
Pat, AJ, the boys, how's it going?
Oh, the Jefferson State. No, is it
State of Jefferson?
State of Jefferson. Oh, this is the northern.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, NorCal, baby.
NorCal. You guys locked down up there? No, or is Donnie Youngblood up there? Sheriff Donnie Youngblood up there?
Well, let me tell you, the stooge Gavin Newsom's got the rest of the state on lockdown, but we doing us up here in NorCal, baby.
Yeah, the state of Jefferson up there is kind of doing their own goddamn thing. What do you want to talk about, brother?
Hey, so there's a lot of talk about what the Niners are going to do with their quarterback situation coming up here in the next year. Do they stick with, there's a lot of conversation about Matt Stafford and Matt Ryan, or do they go younger with a dual threat option? Because Kyle Shanahan could be scary with a dual threat option.
I agree because of his run game setup. I assume that's potentially where they're going to want to go. Now, they were in the conversation for Tom Brady. They said they weren't for a long time. Then it's come out that they were a part of the conversation. It's just kind of how they view the entire rosters. We got to review everybody. They did all that classic bullshit, but they were a part of the conversation. And just a year ago, Jimmy G was maybe 85% winner, 80% winner in his entire career. Because you got to remember, whenever he went out there, San Fran, he won when he was at the Patriots. He goes out to the San Fran. He goes undefeated for the rest of the season, 4 or 5 games, whatever it was, whenever he went out there. They were a very bad football team. Then that next season, they start out a little slow. He zigs instead of zags, tears his ACL, comes back. They go to the goddamn Super Bowl. He misses a deep ball by 7 yards or whatever. Conversation now is, should he even be a quarterback in the NFL, let alone for the 49ers? Tom Brady's potentially goes there. This year, they've been shit, but they've also had a bunch of injuries. I don't know what the future is for the 49ers. I don't know if they do either. I would assume this offseason they're going to have a full conversation. How much money do they owe Jimmy G?
Technically, after this season, if they cut him and release him, they owe $2 million.
Yeah, so that's about as good as gone then. You can probably go ahead and assume that some other quarterback's going to be there. I'm not saying Jimmy G's done for, but it would be scary to see Kyle Shanahan with a quarterback that can move a little bit. Maybe Jordan Love.
Oh,
hey, there we go.
Maybe Carson Wentz. Huh? Jalen Hurts, maybe, if this.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Don't know what's going to happen. But I think that would be awesome, Kyle Shanahan, because of just all the misdirection and the setup and the run ability. If he had another runner in the backfield, it would be fun. But he's had a lot of success with Matt Ryan, Jimmy G. He wanted Tom Brady. So I don't think he cares at all who it is.
Well, I think the question, we're basically writing Jimmy G off. The question is, do they believe in Jimmy G? Is he the guy next year?
I don't think so. They haven't extended him, right? And they have a chance. They only owe him $2 million next year.
If they release him before June 1st, it's $2 million. If it's after, it's $1.4 million. So
that feels like there's zero in there. Now,
Jimmy.
And now maybe Jimmy hasn't gotten a proper amount of time to prove it. And when he got to play and he was healthy, they went to the Super Bowl. But
What do you think? Jacoby will get a chance to be a starter somewhere else?
It would be cool, wouldn't it? But then there's also Jameis. You know what I mean? There's also Jameis. There's Cam's probably going to be on the move. There's going to be a lot of quarterbacks.
And they pay him $26 million if they keep him. So I don't know if that.
I mean, Shanahan can polish a turd. He's got Dick Mullins swinging it all over the yard.
He does got Dick Mullins guy and slinging that thing.
They do have a top. They're going to end up with a top 15 pick, so they can easily draft like Trey Lance.
And they might not be even be able to play in Santa Clara for what, 2-3 years at this point.
Yeah, may move them.
They need Donnie Youngblood out there.
Oh, yeah.
They need Sheriff Youngblood out there protecting Santa Clara, the Wrangler Levi Jeans Company Stadium.
We all do. Get him in the goddamn White House if we have to. I mean,
Sheriff
someone promote that guy.
Hey, Jay, you think he's done or what?
Jimmy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't tell. Like, the fact that they went after Tom Brady, everyone's saying, oh, well, it's Tom Brady. You got to go after him. And if I'm thinking, well, if I think I have my franchise quarterback here and he's young, I don't go after Tom Brady. So that told me a lot, obviously. I think when them trying to pursue Tom Brady, when you have a young, what was Jimmy, like 26 at the time, 27?
Yeah, just came off a Super Bowl, too. But you got to remember, they only threw the ball 8 times in a couple different games. And it's like, yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. $26 million is a lot of money to pay them. Pay him. Is that what you said? 26, 24?
26.
$26 million to pay him next year out there, or $2 million to cut him.
They just signed somebody cheap for 1 year till Rodgers finishes his career in San Fran.
Maybe they try to make a play for Raj.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
If Aaron was together with Shanahan, which I'm not saying anything about any other play callers, any other coaches. I've been around Shanahan. I think they would vibe very, very well.
Well, him and LaFleur have done great. I think we all agree with that. But I do believe Shanahan, and I don't know him that well. I've only seen him in interviews. That feels like a hilarious connection, though.
Well, and they also, like, LaFleur is like a Shanahan guy. I mean, he did work with McVay, but, like, I think him and Kyle Shanahan are, like, best buds.
So, San Francisco 49ers that are in Santa Clara, but now they're currently in Arizona, like, keep your head high, man. Maybe Gutekunst will draft another quarterback next year. You know what I mean? Just kind of push Aaron the hell out of town, right back to the Bay, up to NorCal, up there, state of Jefferson, where Aaron comes from. That could be a big, coming-of-age tale. Now, they did draft Alex Smith over him years ago. Will Aaron remember that? Maybe, possibly. I'm not 100%
Kittle would have 2,000 yards with Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback.
Debo Samuel, too, if he's still there, slant God. I mean, he's just catching them all day. Aaron probably recruits Devontae to go out there.
Packers crumble for the next 100 years.
Yeah, and it's a shame because I just became a Packers fan, too. That was kind of quick.
I mean, let's not put the fucking horse before the carriage here, gentlemen. Jesus Christ, can we enjoy the rest of the fucking season here?
Sometimes you got
My
to.
God.
I don't know. Can we?
Hey, for real, though, Ty, like, what is it going to be like in Green Bay when they don't have a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not from Wisconsin, and so I wouldn't be able to tell you. But I'll tell you what, I'm not going to love it. I'm not going to love it.
Well, you guys could have. You forced them out.
Yeah.
I didn't do a goddamn
You did.
thing.
You're an owner. You are an owner of the Packers.
Fucking, we got as many clips as we need of me banging the fucking. Give Aaron $150 billion. Keep him here until he's 75 years old. All right, I don't want him fucking going anywhere.
Let's go to Mac in Baltimore. What's going on, Mac?
Keep dreaming.
Oh, hey, pal, how are you?
Hey, not too shabby. Mac, how are you, pal?
I'm excited to be on the show.
I like Mac.
My question is about my Patriots, and about Cam. So I've watched Cam play 2 games where he's thrown for 300 yards, a couple touchdowns, and we ended up losing. And then I watched him these past couple weeks throw for 70 yards, and 3 interceptions, and we win the game. My question is, what Cam do you think is going to show up tonight, and what Cam do you think needs to show up to win the game?
Great question, Mac. And the fact that you're from Baltimore and you're a Patriots fan, whenever that field goal was missed, what game was that? The AFC Championship.
Yeah.
AFC Championship game. Cundiff, remember? They didn't know if they were kicking a field goal or whatever. He runs on the field late. He ends up pulling it. But the thing that isn't remembered is 2 plays before that, there was a catch in the end zone that either wasn't reviewed or maybe it was a drop that would have won the game, but Billy Cundiff takes all the heat or whatever. Imagine how insufferable Mac was in Baltimore.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. I bet that was tough to handle. I think Josh McDaniels is putting together whatever offensive scheme they need to win a game. If Cam has to throw or only has to throw for 67 yards and we're going to win a game, that's what we're going to fucking do. So I don't know if you're going to see a lot of Cam getting 20 to 30 pass attempts. I don't know if that's going to happen much anymore. I believe that maybe they found a recipe. So I would assume that you're probably not going to see a 200, 300-yard passing game from Cam Newton, Mac. And if you've been watching the Patriots, I think you know that.
No chance. I mean, the 2 games that he did have over 300 yards that he just mentioned, Texans and Seattle, we lose. And the identity of the team is the offensive line. I mean, we got to run the rock or else we won't win. We need to hold on to the ball as long as possible, keep the defense off the field, and that's what we've been doing.
And find that fucking dog.
Get in the end zone.
Let's go to Ken in New York. What's going on, Ken?
Hey, Pat, boys, AJ. Do I trust Williams and the Giants defense this weekend, or was that a fluke?
Hey, what part of New York are you from, sir?
Upstate New York.
Oh, where at?
About 45 minutes from Binghamton, Sydney, New York.
Oh, nice. Well, thanks for calling up there, Ken. He's a big Giants fan. I have no idea. I didn't watch the Giants game last week. I should have. What
stifled Russ?
Yeah, I mean their defense is going.
They beat
getting
Seahawks.
2.5 points at home against Arizona.
And we like that a lot.
Oh yeah, Giants as dogs.
How did Kyler do against the Jets earlier in the year when he traveled to New York? Because remember,
they won 30-7.
Yeah, it was a big bounce back game.
Because he lost Carolina. He was on the road there.
I don't think he's healthy, man. There's something with that shoulder.
Yeah, the Giants have been covering machines for him. If you've been betting the Giants all year, which I have once I saw him dive on that ball in training camp, they're covering machines. They're getting 2.5 at home against Cardinals.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I like Giants a lot all of a sudden. Oh, my God.
Is Daniel Jones back?
He practiced. Who knows? Colt McCoy doesn't. Colt McCoy
all over the field.
He ain't gonna turn that ball over. You know what I mean? Colt McCoy ain't gonna turn that ball over. Well, he's smart with it.
Yeah.
Cardinals need to win this one just to slow down the Giants. Like there's so much talk. Like we say you don't want to face the Giants in the playoffs. Don't let them get in. Like they do have a ton of confidence, and they're a different team right now.
They really are. And by the way, it doesn't matter how you played in the first 7 weeks. What are you doing in December?
Yeah, Cardinals are out of the playoff spot now.
Yeah, if they lose, it's over for the Cards. So they need to win for themselves.
Yeah, so do the Giants, though, because the Washington football team just knocked off an undefeated squad.
That's right.
Evan Foxy becomes a fan of that goddamn team. They're undefeated, and all of a sudden he becomes a fan. They lose to the Washington football team.
That boy Foxy.
That boy Foxy.
Attaboy, Fox.
Go Steelers.
Go Steelers. They'll be back. They're playing the Bills. A big bounce back game. They needed that loss, right?
Yeah.
They were undefeated. They needed to get, taken down a little bit, chopped at the knees. They'll be back this Sunday.
AJ, have you heard this yet? Evan Fox has pledged his allegiance to the Pittsburgh Steelers going forward, much to the chagrin of every Pittsburgh Steeler fan.
Why they don't want to welcome him with open arms?
No, it was a complete opposite, actually, because he did make this declaration last week to me and a couple other people, and since he made this declaration, the Steelers had their first loss of the season, and they're worried that potentially the Lions' of Evan coming to Pittsburgh is problematic.
Just a coincidence, all right?
Well,
There's no
and the Lions
carryover
won.
effect.
Yeah, is Fox the reason the Lions have sucked for 50 years? Is it the Fox family curse, not the Calvin Johnson curse?
Well, you put it in there with the Calvin Johnson curse. I mean, it's problematic.
Uh-oh.
Unstoppable force.
AJ, what team are you pulling for aside from the Packers? Anybody?
No, I root for players, really. I don't really care about teams as much. Like, that's how I was growing up, too.
Hey, by the way, we got to get to this segment. Speaking of Connor, we have to get to this segment. Yeah. By the way, I've been told this is going to be the best one yet. I do not know the questions this time, but I was teased one earlier today that we were potentially going to rip one to shreds, is what I was told, basically. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a sports show, but every once in a while we need other people to think for us. So this is called Questions from Other Sports Shows.
Welcome to Questions from Other Sports Shows.
Your host is at Boston Connor. What do we have today?
All right, boys, let's keep it clean as always. We'll jump right into it. This one is from Undisputed. Aaron Rodgers says he focuses his workouts more on his legs than his arms. Is this the biggest reason 37-year-old Aaron Rodgers is having an MVP caliber year?
Well, that and he's in his second year in the goddamn offensive system. The offensive lines protect him in incredible fashion. But in life and in football, if your legs are strong, you're probably going to be strong. Now, I don't know how they came up with this stat that Aaron's been focusing strictly on his legs in his workouts and less than his arms. I don't know a lot of quarterbacks that get in there and just pump arms and chest. Actually, I think it's a complete opposite. So I'm not sure he's changing much of anything, but I would say comfort in the system he's playing could also be helping out as much, if not more, in this entire thing.
All right, am I supposed to go?
Do you know if this is true? I think the thing is this true or not?
All right, so now this question is awful, absolutely awful. Like, what are we doing?
Just wait.
The reason that it really gets me, though, is listening. Connor, I'm torn because when I listen to you read these questions, I hate you, but I also think you're somewhat of a genius, too, how you're all in, and, like, you are in on this game. So I appreciate
It's
that.
his segment.
Not a game, dude. I'm trying to get your guys' opinions on the
Sports
question.
radio.
Yeah.
A little respect, dude.
So they said somehow Aaron must have made a comment in an interview that I focus a lot on my legs, which who knows? He could be trolling at any time. You never know.
Legit could be trolling at any, depending on who asked the question.
So are they saying like he throws different now because he torques the ball differently because his legs are stronger? Is that what we're doing?
I do believe that because he's been working on his upper gluteus maximus in the hip point that you said the flex, so he's been able to get around. Also with his golf game, look at you know what I mean? Look at with that whole thing. I think that is potentially the case. Yeah, let me see that ball here. Who's this signed by the way? Left side,
Strong side,
left side,
strong side.
Gary Bertier.
Gary Bertier, rest in peace. By the way, so by the way, shame you.
It's not the real Gary Bertier.
Huh?
AJ. It's the guy who plays him in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, the actor.
You know, so he used
Ryan
to,
Hurst.
He used to throw. You know, he used to throw a lot of arms. You know, it used to be like this. This year, he's just keeping it locked in one thing, and then he just lets the fucking. You know what I mean? And that is why he's been able to just throw darts because less arm, more legs. MVP.
That's right.
MVP. What's the next question, Connor?
All right, gentlemen. This is a multiple choice question from Good Morning Football.
This is the one.
We're going to go into the mixed bag trivia of Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb. Who was the host and musical guest of Saturday Night Live on October 3rd, 2015? Is it A, Miley Cyrus and Miley Cyrus? Is it B, Jonah Hill in Future? Is it C, Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Rachel Platten? Is it D, Paul Rudd and Tattoo? Gentlemen, please.
It's Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
What show was this on?
Saturday Night Live, the Michael Lauren program on NBC.
What show did the question come from?
The question came from Good Morning Football.
And it was a Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry.
Mixed bag trivia.
What does that even mean?
Hey, look, I just asked questions around here. You guys
were they
are
on the
ones
show?
that got it.
They were not on the show.
They were not on the show, no. And well, I actually won't tell you the answer yet, but you know, it might have had to do with this person's favorite artist. You know.
So go back through them again.
Would you like the multiple choice questions or
No,
just
the music, just the music people.
Just the music people. Okay, Miley Cyrus, Future, Rachel Platten, and Tattoo. T.A.A.T.U.
Well, I never heard that motherfucker.
Me
He's
neither.
not on Saturday Night Live. So I'm gonna go with Future. I'm gonna go with the.
Okay, B, Jonah Hill and Future. AJ, in your answer?
I'm going to go with Tattoo and whoever they were with.
Paul Rudd. I'm sorry, gentlemen. You both lose this round. It was A, Miley Cyrus and Miley Cyrus.
This is what Good Morning Football is talking
This
about?
was a question on Good Morning Football last Thursday. Yes, exactly a week ago.
You guys never heard of Tattoo? Russian lesbians?
Run into your head, run into the head. All you things you said, all the things you said, run into your head. I think, that's them. Hold on. I think I know that song, yeah.
That's them.
They have like a great music video to that.
Oh, yeah. A lot of rain.
Yeah, I remember them. That was way back, though. That's like 2015,
I think.
8? No. That's very early. I was in high school when that was going. I can't believe that's what they're talking about. What's that, age?
Don't you think there's plenty of musical artists on Saturday Night Live now that I've never heard of? I mean, I don't see Saturday Night Live a whole lot, but every once in a while the promo pops up where the host introduces who's there and they clap like everyone's heard of them.
Yeah, it seems to be happening a lot in this world, by the way.
Unfortunately.
Last question. We only got like a minute.
All right. Are Wentz's problems on himself or are Wentz's problems on the Philadelphia Eagles?
Oh, yeah, because Kelsey came out and said basically we should all be taking blame for this. And I like Jason Kelsey doing that. And by the way, Jason Kelsey's mullet is unfucking believable right now. That thing should be judged an absolute 10 out of 10. He was on the 4th and John podcast, very Philadelphia. You feel bad. He's the sole one taking the hit right now. Obviously, the entire offense is different. The offensive line, running backs, receivers, coaches. You aren't this bad unless everybody shares blame in this whole thing. So he's basically saying this is a little bit wild. This is probably why Fletcher Cox also liked the tweet that was saying, do you want Jalen Hurts as a retweet or Carson Wentz as a like? Because they all realize that this is a lot bigger than him. We'll see how this goes this weekend, though, against the Saints. It's a big game.
Yeah, what show was this on?
This comes from First Take.
It's this is a legit question.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to, there's nothing to say about it. I think it says a lot that two of their best players on the team stood up for Carson Wentz publicly. They also handled it the right way and said, like, hey, it's a game. We understand how it goes. It's a profession. We're going to support Jalen no matter what. But they like Wentz, and they stuck with it.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if this computer's still broken. It's not. We got like a minute. We got to get the fuck out of here. Tattoo. I do remember them. I just forgot. 2000. This song stinks. This one's a good one. This one's a good one. Hey, not a bad Thursday here.
You know what I've been listening to lately is Mathis Yahoo. I don't know why I got
I
that.
love Mathis Yahoo.
Yes.
I don't think I know who
King
that
of
is.
the Crown.
Never heard.
I'm going to check it out, though.
You should know one day.
One day.
Jewish rapper.
That one?
Yeah.
Jewish rapper?
Shout out.
I'm in.
Shout out.
Happy Hanukkah, by the way. It starts tonight. We'll get the
Menorah.
the menorah. What's that, bub?
What was that, Zeke? What is going on?
Good question.
I'm lit as fuck.
What'd you say?
Hanukkah.
Yeah, he's saying it right. He's having a little bit of respect. Happy Hanukkah to everybody celebrating. We will be back tomorrow. Massive guests on a Feel Good Friday. Big thanks to Demarcus Ware. Big thanks to Tom Pelissero. Big thanks to AJ Hawk. And all of you listening, wherever you may be, Chris Mad Dog Russo with Mad Dog Unleashed will be next. This has been Thursday, December 10th. Pat McAfee Show. I hope you have a great night. Rams, hammer time. Go take a shit. Yeah, 2002. It was high school. I remember that song banging in high school.
Yeah.
King Without a Crown's a banger.
So that was like the throwaway on the multiple choice. That's why they put it.
Well, for me, though, because the year 2015, I have to think about where I was in my life in 2015. What songs was I potentially listening to, And that Tattoo song wasn't even in my head because I didn't even know they existed in 2015. Did they die? Did they make more? Was that a one-hit wonder, them?
Huge in Russia.
They got sent back to Russia.
Yeah, they
Mother
were
Russia.
never heard from again.
They're killing
Jeez,
it
you
over
guys
there.
are terrible. All right.
Ostrovia.
Hammered Down is what, in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
We're interviewing Dana White here in like an hour for tomorrow's show, AJ. Any questions you want me to ask him?
Oh, man. Ask him how he gives the Nelk Boys so much access.
Hey, the Nelk Boys were on stage with him at a presidential rally, dude. Nelk.
Amazing. Whole situation's great. It's hilarious watching.
Yeah, Nelk Boys access. Okay, I'll ask about that. Appreciate you, AJ. Thank you so much to YouTube people. We appreciate you so much. We were up at like 21,000 people at one point today. That's big for Thursday. That's big for Thursday. That's a big Thursday show. We appreciate you spending time with us. If you like the show, be a friend, tell a friend. If not, just go ahead and fuck off. We'll see you tomorrow. I think we'll have a good one for you. Good conversation, more phone calls, some guests, and some more predictions. Hammer Don, a gambling podcast that takes place out of this office, will begin in about 10 minutes on this same channel right here. It's been Thursday, December 10th. Pat McAfee Show. Cheers.